It's coming. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday, Sunday, if you're a future person. Welcome back to the Debate Review Show. This week, I am once again joined by the illustrious Mr. Mark Reed, and we're doing a part two. Once again, yes. This time we have Red's Rhetoric versus Bad Notice over the shape of the Earth. But first, how are you, my good friend Mark?
I'm good. I'm tired today. I got up really late and thought I'd miss it, but I'm okay. I'm going to change to Ember background, which I sort of saved for Ember background. So I forgot to do that. I do apologize, but I'm good. I've seen. I was really looking forward to this. I've been doing some looking up on the final experiment and how that's going, kind of thing. Apparently. Only 3 flat earthers have actually agreed to do it. So there's Jeranism, who Jeranism, for one, he seems like he's the least shilly of the lot of them. There's Jeranism, there's Whitsett has agreed to do it, but apparently, and I've noticed that he's sort of pivoting into heliocentrism, like, it's almost like he knows he's been lying all along.
What?
It's strange that. yeah, crazy, right? And then there's a Kingdom in Context, who I'm not very aware of who they actually are.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Huh.
Yeah, so I think they're more a sort of a Christian kind of channel, rather than a flat Earth channel, but they do espouse the flat Earth concept. So. And the lineup for the Globe side is actually pretty insane. There's like MC Toon, there's Craig from Fight the Flat Earth, Cricket Blinder, there's Simon Dan, Professor Dave, like some massive names going. Planar Walk as well is going.
Hell yeah.
It'll be fairly easy for her to get down to Antarctica from where we are. So a lot of people going from the Globe side. Not so much from the flat Earth side, but I find that hilarious at the same time. Sort of, I'm sort of looking through the excuses that are coming up, and it's actually quite hilarious to see people like Austin Whitsett, who calls everybody stupid, starting to insinuate, hey, if I'm wrong, but they're still wrong about the heliocentrism thing, and it's like, really? Come on now. Come on, you've been calling everybody idiots for years. Come on.
And it doesn't sell as much. Like, flat Earth, the whole thing is like, oh, well, look with your eyes. But heliocentrism, people just aren't invested in it because it's, who cares?
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah, at the same time, I think from sort of Whit's excuse, he's one that I pegged as knowing that he's lying, and this is sort of showing just how much he knew he was lying the entire time. And it's sort of as soon as that man gets any pushback on the flat Earth, anything that he can't refute or sort of sound like he's convincing, he just won't debate you anymore. He's debated me a couple of times, and then after some actually good evidence that he can't answer, he just won't debate anymore. He just will make up excuses. he's a liar. He's just a shill selling stuff, basically. And if I have no doubt that if heliocentrism doesn't work, he will go to some excuses of why the Earth is flooding. He'll just pivot back because he's just after money. That's all he's after. It's a grift. It's a con.
Yeah, hell, maybe he'll switch to straight over to young Earth creationism. He'll be like, okay, the Earth is round, but it's only 6,000 years old. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. You know, I wouldn't put it past him. I think he'll just go to wherever the money is.
Yeah. So I looked up this new player, this Kingdom in Context. Naturally, 132K subs. Love to see it. And here's his third recommended video. He's hanging out with Flatzoid, debating biblical or doing a review of biblical cosmology.
On Donnie's, is that Donnie? That he was on Donnie's channel?
It looks like he and Flatzoid and a panel were reviewing one of Donnie's debates.
Right.
So they were doing what we do, but with 8 people. Interesting.
Well, Donnie keeps saying he's going to find a flat Earth debate for me, but I don't think they really want to debate me, which is just sort of indicative of they know, they 100% know that they're lying. So this sort of final experiment, it's going to be really interesting to see what their explanations for a 24-hour sun actually is. It you know, and who can actually stand by it and who won't.
Yeah, it'll be an adventure, as Peter Pan would say. But speaking of adventure, we have an adventure tonight. We have part 2 of it's such a wild debate. It's Red's Rhetoric, whom most of us know, and this random person named Ban Notice in a debate on the website formerly known as Twitter, which is just wild in and of itself. Before we get to it, though, hello to everyone in the live chat. I see a Sir Little Wolf and a Purple Rhymes with Orange and a You Are Victoria and an Icy Spin and, of course, our most wonderful and gracious mod, Pragmatic Crystal. Everyone loves and adores you. And yeah, sharing bunches of links, all kinds of goodies. How about if I get a panel of dinosaurs to debate young Earth? That would be amazing, Purple. So Purple, like many of our friends, is a dinosaur. For anybody who doesn't know, that would be kind of amazing. Maybe Dapper Dinosaur, Doc Dino. There's a few. There are a few. That could be a fun time. Yeah. So we've got and one other thing. This is likely to be the last live over here this month, so I'm going to take the opportunity to drop the presents that YouTube gives me to give out every month. I've got 5 more Emberships I can just fling out there for people to enjoy this month, and I'm going to do it. And those went to Deviant Outcast, Anarchic Fox, Citizen 9, Howard Gabrielis, and Rasputis. Fantastic. Wonderful. Wonderful. Congratulations, folks. Enjoy all the fun custom emojis, which are voted on by the members, and the other assorted perks that come along with, like behind the scenes posts, early access to new videos, other exclusive videos. There's a lot of stuff that's members only now. So yeah, enjoy. All right. I think that covers everything for the beginning. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, so you can join us in future live chats and win some of these wonderful prizes, hang out with some of these wonderful people, like Sterling and Ash, for example. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Am I missing anything, Mark? You seem to be muted, Mark. Mark's got a new microphone, and it's been mean. Nothing yet.
It's not.
There you are. There. Nope. Shit. Wait.
Hello.
There. Okay. You're back right now.
Hello. Yeah. No, it's not any microphone. It's just I've got a different placement, and when I move it, for some reason, it absolutely let's just say it craps the bed. Like really, it really does just hate being moved. I've got to do something about it. It's absolutely terrible. I think it's more my broadcast program having problems.
Oh, the NVIDIA broadcast thing.
Yeah, I think it hates being moved, kind of thing. But if I restart it, it should be fine. If I restart the thing, so
okay. Yeah, your image winked out for a minute, but yeah, you sound okay now.
That's all right.
And while we were having fun with that, Reggie dropped by to drop 5 more Emberships. Hell yeah! Thank you, Reggie.
Oh, Reggie,
those went to
thanks.
BS Lewis. Sir Little Wolf randomly says Mark is at a loss for words. Tsumami, Fro from Norway, Jason T, Action Squad, and Karen Butcher. Congratulations, folks, and enjoy all of your custom emojis and other assorted perks. Embership comes with many, many blessings, and I appreciate very, very much, Reggie. That's super. Yeah. Okay. Now I think we're caught up. All right. Let's bring our debate onto the stage. We last left our intrepid heroes at timestamp 56:51. I've gone back a few seconds because it's easier this way. And
sure.
Do you remember where the heck we were?
Not really, no. I think we just finished sort of the introductions and rebuttals, I believe. Not that there were a lot of rebuttals from the one side. Like Reds actually did really well to cover the scatter shot that the other guy did. Like he did so much stuff, and Red's Rhetoric sort of covered it all, basically. And I was really impressed with his level of, and I think I mentioned, like, you cannot do that without note taking. I was very adamant about that. You can't cover that amount of stuff without taking notes. So
yeah, I think we can't see what they're doing because there's no video component to this debate. But yeah, definitely keeping up scribbling notes. I can't English. You have to forgive me, folks. It's been a rough few weeks over here in Emberland. Yeah. We're doing our best. I got lasered in the face today. No makeup. My face is sore as hell from getting punched by photons. But it's all progress. It's all making tomorrow better. Yeah. All right. Let's dig in on this beastie and see what happens.
To be clear, the NASA document is not a proof of flat Earth. It is an admission of flat Earth. And so it's interesting that you're saying, well, why do I believe NASA at this point? I could ask you the same question. Why do you guys believe NASA, except when they tell the truth? Furthermore, that document does not have to do with the computer program. It just has to do with a bunch of calculations that the Globers said were simplified, because how could these calculations work in the real world if supposedly it's on an imaginary flat and non-rotating Earth? What would...
So the document, he hasn't specified which document he's talking about, but this is a document. There is a document that gets brought up by Flerfers all the bloody time. It's an old
training manual.
Yeah, an old training manual from decades and decades ago. And it doesn't say what they claim it says.
Yes. It says, in order to perform these calculations in this training manual, just assume that the Earth is flat and non-stationary. So it's basically saying, hey, let's make the calculations as simple as possible, in this scenario kind of thing. So they're not saying that the Earth is actually flat and stationary. It just says, in order to do this exercise in this training manual, assume it is. It's like sort of saying, for the purpose of this exercise, assume it's a directly straight line between point A and point B, whereas that might not be true if you walk it, or if so it's like, as we use, as the crow flies, like a direct line, whereas the actual reality is quite different of how you would travel to A to B. It's just a simplification And they think it's this, oh, well, this training manual says like they've admitted it. And it's like, no, they've done nothing of the sort. And it's kind of embarrassing when you actually read it that it doesn't actually say that the Earth is flat and stationary. It just said, assume it's flat and stationary, which is kind of embarrassing for them.
Especially in the context of higher education. Like anybody who's taken a Physics 201 course will know that all the time you'll see stuff like, for the purposes of this exercise, assume every being, every living organism is a spherical frictionless cow. It becomes a freaking meme. Everything is spherical frictionless cows. Does that mean the world is populated by nothing but spherical frictionless cows? Or is it just an assumption to make the calculations easier for that, the purpose of that, the thing you're doing right now? You know, it's exactly the same. The Earth is flat in the same way. They're smooth, frictionless cows.
Because what we do a lot of the time is assume X, and then like when we get the hang of doing those calculations, they will increase the amount of variables in the calculations. That's generally what they will do. They'll give you the most simplified version possible, and then they'll increase the amount of variables for you to consider. It's such a stupid argument. Like, it really is just reading a manual and not understanding how we teach people mathematics, essentially. Like, it's so absolutely ludicrous.
And you know, Ed has joined us, the rabid atheist. He says it's my experience with flat earthers is that they like to discuss old data. New stuff is too complicated and they don't understand it, so it can't be true. Incredulity. And that's kind of, it's partly cherry picking from the past. We see the same thing with young earthers. Well, they'll go back to like textbooks from 1976 or whatever, because there's this one phrase they can pull out that says what they can make it say what they want it to say. And no newer versions do that. They do the same thing a lot, but also they don't like the newer stuff. They want what was true when they went through high school. That's the truth, period. I suspect it may be a kind of impairment, or possibly selective dishonesty, or both. You know, why not both? Both is good. Yeah.
Would be the point of doing calculations on an imaginary world if NASA believes that the Earth is a sphere? Now, you mentioned that you bring the science, and this is what I really want to talk about with this debate. Let's talk about the science. And because you mentioned the globebusters, and because you said that the F-16 pilot supposedly said this. He didn't supposedly said this, he did say this. And this is what I want to point out about the dishonesty of the globers in general. When the SpaceX rocket blew up, it was clearly an explosion. But what did the BBC call it? A rapid, unscheduled disassembly.
What? They were being facetious. That was a joke.
That's SpaceX's internal term for it. They're engineers, they're nerds. That's their joke. It's rapid unscheduled disassembly. We saw that with the Starship test. They use it all the time.
Right. That's just a joke. Like, do they not have a sense of humor? Wow.
So, well, I mean, that's how they get to be flat earthers, right? They take everything literally, including the Bible. Yeah.
Well, at least he was honest about, like, sort of this is hinging his God belief. Like, he at the start, and I remember it very vividly. This person Ban Notice said, you know, this is based upon my belief in God. At least he was honest about that. I think he is one of the few that is actually honest about their religious faith hinging their belief that the Earth is flat.
Yeah,
a lot of them do.
As we mentioned last time, when Mark and I took on Flatzoid and another flat earther, a little over a year ago. It was October, I think, maybe September of last year. But yeah, it took us over an hour of debate to get Flatzoid to admit that he's a flat earther because he presupposes the Bible is literally true and makes facts fit his preconception. Such is life.
Hmm.
This is a perfect example of how you guys have to constantly change and redefine the definition of words. You mentioned how I wasn't paying attention to your little redefinition of level and curve. Yes, we all know the Glober logic where flat is level and level is curve. We've all seen your cartoon drawings.
What? So we went through this in the debate with Flatzoid too. So
Yeah.
my phone is flat. It is flat, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is currently not level. Now it's level. Now it's not level. Flat and level, not the same thing. This is a very easy thing to demonstrate, but it's still very hard for flat earth.
And level in physics, like the actual term, I mean, we use it colloquially to describe things that are horizontal, like along. But really in physics, level is perpendicular to the center of mass, or perpendicular to the pull of gravity, right? So at 90 degrees to the pull of gravity, and the pull of gravity is towards the center of mass. So level is 90 degrees towards the center of mass of the Earth. That is what level is in physics. And so as you go around the Earth, the angle of level will actually change. That's very well understood.
Yes. Okay, I found the technical paper because I'm an I should put this in my references on my website, betterthanember.com. I have like pages of references for things. So here's the technical paper from NASA. It's originally from like 1989, which you can see right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's outside of the share window. Whatever. It's from 1989.
Okay.
Page 36 here. This report derives and defines a set of linearized system matrices for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying in a stationary atmosphere. NASA's admitting that's real too. See, it's a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Like, that's it.
They've admitted it. Wind does not exist. They've just admitted wind is a fiction. It's a fabrication.
That's right. So here it says 1987. Okay, yeah. It's Ames Research Center, Dryden Flight Research Facility, NASA, Edwards Base, California. Yeah, that's it. It's just saying, hey, by the way, we're making a lot of assumptions to make the math easier. That's it. We're leaving out a bunch of complexities. Wild.
Explaining this. Most people think level is level and curve is curve. If you went to an architect and said, hey, give me a flat floor and a flat ceiling in a solid building, and that architect was like, okay, so I'm going to make you a curved building, and this wing we're going to call the Australia wing. It's going to be upside down. You would fire that architect, because when you ask for something,
should the Australia wing be upside down, Mark?
I'm sorry. I'll just turn my camera on. I'm wondering if I can horizontally flip my camera.
Can I? Oh, maybe. I need a bigger window to get. There we go. I got my handle. Haha. You can be right side up. I'll be.
Okay.
Well, this is a lovely view of my boobs, but my face is up here.
Yeah. Wow.
I can't reach my handle again to fix it. Oh no. What have I done? What have I done?
It's all gone. It's all gone downhill. It's over. That's it.
I've ruined everything. The flat earthers win. Oh my.
It's finally won.
I have no idea how much showed because I was looking at my OBS screen. It's all good. My chest looks better than my face today, so
totally fine. Totally fine. It's all fine.
Well, welcome, Chrissy. You joined at just the right time.
Chrissy.
Oh my.
Something to be level, it has to be level. Architects and engineers do not account for the curve of the Earth. They don't ever use the curve of the Earth for railroads, bridges,
Not true.
buildings, trains, roads,
Not
or anything
true.
like that.
No,
Is
shoot, that came up with Flatzoid too. We were talking about, I
Yep.
think we mentioned the Empire State Building and the Golden Gate Bridge,
Yep.
how the upright supports, even though they're only a fraction of a degree apart from each other, they're slightly different up
Mhm.
perpendiculars, and so they're not quite parallel.
Yep.
So the supports at the top are slightly further apart than the supports at the bottom.
Yep. And one of the projects is the Verrazano Narrow Bridge in New York. The towers of the bridge are 41.275 millimeters further between the tops and the base. And I mean, it's a small amount, but in comparison to the size of the Earth, it's only a small sort of distance that it's traveling. But yes, they absolutely do take the curvature of the Earth into account. Absolutely do.
Mm-hmm. Have to. The ship falls apart if you don't. We've tried not doing it, and it doesn't end well. That brings to mind another thing that I would like to see a flat earther explain sometime. So I'm improvising because I don't have the proper stuff handy. But whenever you hang a clothesline or otherwise run any kind of line a long distance between two poles, it always droops a little bit because you can't ever quite completely overcome gravity with a rope of any kind. That's a proof of gravity, because if it were like electric universe or density buoyancy or whatever other nonsense, there wouldn't be any reason for things to have a slight downward droop to them. Why downward? Why is that there?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know how far the argument would carry, but it would be fun to watch them squirm and try to come up with an explanation.
Right.
You know, just an off the cuff thing. I do that a lot. You know, tangents. That's what you all come here for. At least I hope so, because that's what you get. All right, continuing along.
Military snipers don't use the curve of the Earth either, because bullets cannot bend around curves, light cannot bend around curves, water cannot.
It can. All of those things do. Snipers. Okay, so snipers
have to take into account.
Yes, just like artillery officers have to account for it. And we know the thing that proved Einstein's theory of relativity was light bending around a curve. We saw stars during a total solar eclipse. Eddington, 1917, sails to the equatorial islands off the coast of Africa, looks up, cloudy sky. Oh no, but there's a break in the clouds. Oh yay, photo. And we see the deflection of stars that should have been behind the sun. We're able to see them because of the sun's gravity. The light bent around the freaking sun. That's how we proved relativity. Holy shit. What an amazing accomplishment 107 years ago.
Yeah.
And this dude's like, yeah, light doesn't bend though.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck do you mean light doesn't bend?
It's sort of like when they sort of say, oh, refraction isn't a thing. And like, you just put something in a glass of water and you see refraction. Like
that's an easier
so
one than my story. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's just, I mean, and here's the thing, snipers over short distances, like relatively short, they don't take it into account. But when it gets to those, incredibly long shots, not only do they have to factor curvature of the Earth, as well as bullet drop, of course, and things like that, because gravity exists. They also have to factor in the rotation of the Earth. I mean, it's not a big factor, but it's still a tiny little factor. It's ridiculous. It's sort of this they will find some crackpot who claims to be a X. He'll say something and they'll say that represents every person from that field that has ever lived. It's absolutely ridiculous. Of course, engineers take the curvature of Earth into account. There's geodesy, surveyors do it, pilots do it. Like it's just ridiculous. They'll find one person to say, "Oh no, I don't." and that they'll hold them up as this authority. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, we've got the one person who's bad at their job. 3% of climate scientists don't think climate change is happening. So clearly, they're the real
Yeah.
experts, and the 97%. Oh my goodness,
Mm-hmm.
wowzers! It's a wowzers. Oh,
Yeah.
we've got more friends dropping by. I can't keep up with everybody. Let's see. We've got Raul Hernandez AFK for 5 minutes. It happens. It happens.
Oh, there's Marty. Hey, Marty.
Yeah, Marty is shoot. I had Marty earlier. There we go. I waved, but we were chatting. Yeah, Marty is here, and Katina dropped by with a whole bunch of nope.
Yep.
Very much nope on a rope. Ooh. I'm not sure what I beg to differ. The 5 inches definitely needed adjustments. I don't know, but Purple suggests the Battle of River Plate could be. British cruisers kept missing until one realized that being south of the equator, the constant for Coriolis needed to be negative.
Yep.
Whoops. I mean, we can't. Why can't we hit anything? Why? And then once they did, 6 of their 9 shots were direct hits. Nice. And Chris from the Dam Network,
Hi, Chris.
the realm of the burners, has dropped by. Hello, all you beautiful people. Yeah, good to see you.
Actually, I want to give a big shout out to the Dam Network. I often lurk in there because coming by in the morning, his shows in the morning. That's my nighttime, and I like to sit and watch when I'm doing stuff. So yeah, big shout out to the Dam Network.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Chris's shows are I can't make it by every day because my work schedules are so weird. But there's so many mornings when Chris pops on and like I can listen while I drive for the most part, and it's a fun time. So yeah, if you haven't, Chris does live shows. Shoot, Chris, what the hell time do you start? 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Eastern time, something like that. My time sense is completely skewed. Mornings. Mornings Eastern, even earlier if you're in the Pacific, etc. But there's also pre-recorded content. So Chris's commercials are some of the funniest fucking things. 9 a.m. Eastern, thank you. So yeah, and there's a link so you can subscribe and ring the bell and all the things. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern. So Pacific, that would be 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So very, very morning. But yeah.
Yeah. Or very evening if you're me, because I'm upside down and things are topsy-turvy here.
I know.
Sense.
I do the same thing with your show, Mark. Depending on which day it happens to be. Like for my Tuesdays, that's when your aimbot is on in the evening, and I have to. I usually I'm already late for bed by the time you get started. But I'll put aimbot on, and I'll say it'll load everybody, and then I'll drift off, and it's nice. Nice having a friend doing the things while you're either, doing dishes or trying to doze off, whatever the case may be. I enjoy it anyway.
But it's wild to think that we're on opposite ends of the earth. Like we're literally like sort of 13 hours apart at the moment. So we're almost opposite ends of the earth, and we still get to, talk and engage in real time. It blows my mind every time I think of it, like that we're using light to communicate directly with somebody on the other end of the planet. Like it's just wild to me every time I think about it.
I know we seldom consider the fact that the fact Mark and I can do this show.
Yeah,
it's a miracle. It's not a biblical miracle because there's a naturalistic explanation. We know why, we know the science, but in the grand scheme of things, the big picture, it's a fucking miracle. Science has actual real miracles. We can put rockets into space. We can put, if we really want to, we have in years gone by, put humans on the fucking moon. We can do so much cool shit. And we have prophecies too. And I'm channeling a little bit of Chris from the damn show here.
Okay.
We can do real prophecies. We can come up with a hypothesis and make observations and gather data. And then we make a prediction. And while it's not always right, sometimes it is. Sometimes the shit we say is going to happen does come true, and that verifies the hypothesis and sends it to the next stage. We do the peer review and people try to replicate it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it works a hell of a lot more often than some dude thousands of years ago saying, and the Messiah will ride into Jerusalem on 2 donkeys at the same time somehow.
Okay, I gotta push back on that being prophecy, like seriously, because we learn just as much from the failures as we do from the successes, you know. And I think the idea of prophecy is that you have a knowledge that it's going to be correct ahead of time. I think that your definition of prophecy there is really doing some work for you, kind of thing. I think novel testable predictions, we've learned just as much from the ones that fail as the ones that succeed. Absolutely. So yeah, I would push back on that definition of prophecy, but I get what you're saying, that we can actually, well, think about it this way. Jesus cured one guy of leprosy. Through science, we've basically eliminated leprosy completely. You got to wonder why Jesus didn't do that.
Right.
Because
like
we've essentially done it.
Yeah, Jesus famously took 2 tries to cure one dude of blindness. Mr. Beast cured 1,000 people of blindness for one video. Like,
well, I mean, I prefer talking about Fred Hollows, who was a guy that he did a amazing sort of an eye surgeon that it sort of empowered people to cure avoidable blindness, and did it for a lot of third world countries than Mr. Beast, who seems to be a bit more dodgy, to be honest with you. So big shout out to Fred Hollows, New Zealander. What a guy. Absolute champion.
Hell yeah. It's good stuff. I love people using their capabilities, and I'll even give Mr. Beast credit, but anybody who uses the resources to make life suck less for other people, even if it's for views and clicks, it's still doing more good for the world than the Joel Osteens of the world, who are saying, send me all your money and God will take care of it, all that crap. But yeah, there's different levels of goodness. Mark Rober, for example. He does good work, but he's also still very Mormon, and 10% of his millions of dollars he makes goes to the church, which dumps millions and billions into lobbying efforts to push hateful legislation to oppress other people. Not great.
Yep.
He's just being a good Mormon, but he's actively harming the world and making it suck more. Whereas there are other creatives who do very similar things. They haven't made like the same, porch pirate package that explodes with the glitter everywhere, but they do other stuff, and they don't make the world suck while they're doing it.
Yeah.
So, it's nice. It's nice to see. It's nice to see. Yeah. But we are way the fuck off topic.
Tangents in chat. Absolutely.
That's multi-level tangents right there.
Oh yeah. Look, I'm in a very feisty mood. I'm going to stand by my tangents. Yeah.
I've been ranty.
I was kind of feeling a bit, I got up sort of late and didn't know I'd make it on time. So I was kind of in that, I got to make it mode kind of thing, quick shower and get ready kind of thing. And now that I'm here, now that the pressure's off, I feel like I've just gotten feisty. And so, yeah, thank you so much, Dave. Thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate it, mate.
Yep. We should have been able to prophesy that Chris was going to drop by, because you got attacked by tech demons moments before Chris showed up. And we always know the tech demons follow Chris around.
And I was actually on a stream, just to tangent a bit further, I was actually on a stream with the Apostate Sisters, who I found on your channel. So they do some really interesting and really intelligent commentary, and they were talking about the role of women in the past and the patriarchy and the way that sort of religious people see women. And I brought up the Scold's Bridle. If you've never seen this thing, like this is in the 1500s, and it was a device to, if a woman was scolding people, nagging and being vocal, it was basically a device, a muzzle essentially for women. And this is something that most people are unaware of, that this is how people were treated by the church in the past. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I just wanted to mention that, like, just insane.
This one looks kind of slightly badass.
Yeah, you know what? That would not go astray at a metal concert. You know,
it's true. But yeah, these are a bit more.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this is you know, do not forget how history has treated certain people, and the responsibility that we have to make that never happen again. Like we cannot go back to these sort of systems that treat people like absolute property. Like, we just can't go back to that. It's not feasible. It shouldn't happen. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic. I did warn you I was going to tangent, but
it's true. It's true. Yeah. I mean, there is so much stuff like that. People have no fucking idea. They're just like, oh, well, you know, if women lose the right to vote, we'll go back into the kitchen and we'll be happy, taken care of by men.
Yeah.
And no, that's not how this works, dear. No, you become property. You become like, your owner can do whatever the fuck they like to you. You don't get a say. It's a lot more than just the vote. Crazy shit. Infuriating shit. So yeah, Cuddly Unicorn, welcome. You picked a great time to drop by.
I'm sorry, Cuddly. It's totally my fault. Absolutely my fault. I will take responsibility for this one. This was not Ember in the slightest, trust me.
I mean, not this time, but I have been known. I often that's why I still have subscribers. People come, they don't come for flat earth. They come for the random topics we go off.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little flat earth. I don't know.
It's just such an archaic, and like we sorted this one out thousands of years ago, like literally thousands of years ago, with oh geez, I've forgotten the name. What was that guy? I have 100% forgotten the name. It was an ancient Greek guy that did the sticks in the sand. I
want to say Euthyphro, but that's not it. It's
no, that's what I thought as well.
It's a shit. We've been doing too much philosophy. It should be right.
Eratosthenes.
There we are. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh boy. But I mean, I speaking of philosophy, basically the father of Western philosophy, Aristotle, he believed the Earth was a sphere. Yeah, thanks, Austin. Really appreciate it, mate. Yeah, no, I don't know, my mind blanked kind of thing. Yeah, I've been doing too much philosophy recently. I've got to do more science. More science
for science. Hell yeah,
science.
Yeah, we love to see it.
Not bend around curves. All of these things can only work on a relatively level plane. So another thing I want to talk about is, you mentioned the assumptions about me, about not paying attention. I would just throw that back at you and say, the purpose of this debate was to present positive proof of your ideology. I don't know how you can actually prove your ideology without defining it. You very conveniently sidestepped that. Now you said, well, what does it matter?
This is a weird kind of phrasing over you're having an disagreement or a debate over something factual like the shape of the Earth. I don't I don't know why you would say, hey, your ideology, apart from, trying to poison the well or sort of make it seem like this is just a belief or a religion. They'll say, hey, this is your religion. And it's like, well, not everything is a religion, my guy. Like, if I believe that cars are fuel efficient, that's not a religion. We can't just go around calling everything a religion. But this thing about, oh, this is an ideology, it really isn't. It really isn't an ideology. I don't know why you would frame it like that.
I wonder what he means by like failure to define. How do you prove something if you can't define? What do you mean? How much definition do you want? The
Right.
Earth is a spheroid. It's basically a sphere.
An oblate spheroid.
Yeah, like how much more definitioning do you? It's very peculiar. And hello,
I
Dave.
think that about sums it up. Like, it's a really big oblate spheroid. I don't know what else to say to that. I think
it's a big ball.
Yeah.
And we know how flat earthers feel about balls.
I love balls.
And Flatzoid really does love balls.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been
Thanks,
waiting to use that for like a year.
Nice.
It's a good thing I have
Nice.
these backups saved in StreamYard, because all my buttons, for those of you who don't know, haven't been around in a little while, my computer died a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, I got it resurrected, but all the software custom stuff that I built up, the OBS shenanigans and the buttons menus and all they're all gone. I have to completely redo them. So thank goodness I have a few things saved in StreamYard, like, say, for example, we wanted to know how many clips I still have available locally on my desktop. Dr. Tour?
0!
For instance. So yeah, I've got a couple. But not as many as I used to. I'll probably rebuild them a bit, but it'll take so much time. And I'm very short on time because I'm working 5 fucking jobs right now. Kill me and collect the life insurance. Anyway, let's continue along.
God created
Send
the flat
help.
Earth. This is why. Because when we see order in the system, we know that it was brought there by intelligent design. If you see a watch on the ground, you don't just say, oh, 13.8.
He
Wait.
is not.
Why is the teleological argument suddenly here? Where did that come from?
Surprise watchmaker.
Yes, this is the teleological argument, that the argument from fine tuning. I don't know. How does that support a flat Earth? What?
Let's see if he makes a connection. Wow. We stopped too early last week because that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no joke. Wow.
8 billion years ago, the Big Bang exploded, and suddenly now we have a clock on the ground. If you put a bunch of pieces of metal, screws, and springs in a box and blow it up, suddenly it doesn't create a clock. So I'm sorry, but you do have to define the globe model, but you refuse.
Is he high? Because
I
that
don't
wasn't
know.
just a non sequitur. Those were words that weren't even in order, really.
If you have an explosion, if you have a box and blow it up, it doesn't make a watch. Yeah. I would hesitate to say yeah. No one's saying that the Big Bang A was an explosion and B that it created watches.
I mean, from a
what?
certain point of view, it did. Like, if you
Oh well, yeah, created humans,
atoms
which
and
created
things,
watches.
but
yeah,
also there's I heard I was talking to Grace and Hawk a couple of months ago, and we had an interesting discussion about the emergent nature of matter, and time, for that matter, the expansion of the universe, all these things. It was a long conversation, but to boil it down, there is a hypothesis. It's still only a hypothesis, not even a theory, but it does sound compelling, where effectively everything that happens, the reason we have both time and space, is to separate quantum level interactions. Literally, the existence of the universe is itself a clock to keep quantum level interactions in order. That's why we're here. We are the clock.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I know. I'm like, how do you even test that? It's a fascinating
Yeah.
subject, but it's a very big detour. So we'll just stick to the
Yeah,
summary today.
To do it. But you guys
5 minutes.
You have the audacity to come to the flat earthers and say that we're not providing proof, that we're not providing a working model. Let me tell you about your so-called working model. Under the theory of gravity, it should be that larger objects fall faster than smaller objects. That's how your theory of
What?
What did he say?
Larger objects under your theory of gravity, if gravity was real, larger objects should fall faster than smaller objects.
No, they don't. No, that's not what the theory of gravity says. That's the opposite of what the theory of gravity says. The only thing that affects the rate of descent is air resistance. That's all. So, for instance, if you drop a feather and a bowling ball, the feather, because of air resistance, will actually fall slower. But if you put them in a vacuum chamber with no air, they fall at exactly the same time. It's wild. And there's a very good reason for that. So the reason is because of sort of inertia, and that's the resistance to being moved. So as we all know, it's easier to move a TV than it is a fridge, right? So the heavier something is, or the more mass something is, the more energy is required to move it. But inversely, the more mass something has, the more gravity has an effect on it. So basically what's happening when you drop two things is that the more mass it has, the more energy is required to pull it down towards the Earth or towards the other mass. But because it has more mass, that more force is actually being, that is actually being created through gravity. And I might be butchering this, but basically they cancel one another out. So they fall at the same rate. Everything falls at the same rate. That's one of the absolute wow.
I can almost get why he's confused, because inertia is affected by mass, but the thing is, it's
hard to
it's different. Gravity isn't. That's one of the things that tipped Einstein off to the fact that gravity isn't a force in the way Newton described it, because it doesn't work. You can be at rest and also be falling towards a massive object. It's not the same thing. It's wild. Probing time. Hello, says gravity is an acceleration. Here on Earth, it's 30 feet per second squared. On different moons or planets, it's very different. And that's true. On the moon, for example, our nearby celestial neighbor with the lovely phases that drive our cycles and our calendars and keep us entertained on those long summer nights, which are actually the shortest nights, but details. But 1/6, roughly 1/6. If you weighed, say, 60 stone here on Earth, I have no idea how much a stone is. I'm not English, but say you weighed 60 stone, it would be 10 stone on the moon. It's a hell of a weight loss program.
Brian Cox, I know, I was just looking for the video. Brian Cox actually went to the world's largest, I love Brian Cox. He's an awesome physicist, and I find him really easy to listen to. He went to the world's largest vacuum chamber, and they pumped all the air out and dropped a bowling ball and a feather. Okay, I've shared my screen just to quickly, show it. So this is basically, they release it, and this is in a complete vacuum, so no air resistance.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, there's so much space too. I love it.
Yeah, it's the world's biggest vacuum chamber. It's absolutely wild. I love how excited they are as well. Just how, like, it's almost childish excitement from these people. I love to see it. I love to see the excitement. But yeah, you could see that the feathers just dropped and the bowling ball made a crack in the in the surface. So right, absolutely smashes it.
Hell
That's
yeah.
the thing, like, you know, it's sort of do you want to switch back and I'll shut this down? I don't want you to
Sure.
lose your thing. What's it?
Oh shit, I have to do
Your
it over
share.
here. There we go.
Okay.
I'm clicking in the wrong place.
There we
Bad
go.
at my job, folks. I'm terrible
No,
at this.
all good. No, but that's the whole point. Like, yes, they will fall at the same rate, but because the amount of force required to move that bowling ball is much higher, its potential force at the end, like the kinetic force it imparts when it hits the ground, is obviously so much more than the feather. Like, we understand all of this, but this straw man that he's making that oh, things should fall faster if they're heavier. No, absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. And we understand why. And it's kind of wild why, but I get that. But that's how it is.
Yeah, Galileo disproved that concept
Yep.
hundreds of years ago. He did it a little bit
Yep.
differently because he didn't have a vacuum chamber, but he
did rolling balls.
He demonstrated it very conclusively. He did a bunch of cool physics back in the day.
Yeah, he just had an incline with different sized, like, round balls, because flat earthers love balls, and just rolled them, and they all reached the bottom at the same time. Now, he didn't understand why, but he was like, yes, things of different sizes and, you know, weights will all fall at the same rate. That was one of the things that we knew back in freaking ages ago.
And that's one of the cool things about science is you can make a discovery and you don't have to know why. You can just say, hey, look, I've observed this thing, and then other people verify it, and da-da, you have added to science. Someone else can figure out why later. You've made a contribution. Good job. Speaking of contributions, Icy Spin sends a super chat for $1.99. Thank you so much. And says, theme, attack straw man, repeat. Just kind of, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Sure. I hear you, mate.
According to your theory of gravity, clearly you don't understand the theory of gravity, let alone telling me what I think the theory of gravity is. My goodness.
And what's incredible is that is projected back to us. Like, for instance, I saw, as I said, I was looking up the final experiment, sort of doing some research into that and sort of seeing what the reaction has been among the flat earthers, and saw Whitsitt saying all the globers do is strawman us and insult us and stuff. And it's like, are you freaking serious?
Projection.
Well, yeah, and in a debate, interrupt this kind of thing. And I'm like, Whitsitt is the worst for interrupting out of anybody I've seen, just because as soon as you're onto a good thing, he will interrupt and basically insult you in a very roundabout way. But he thinks he's doing it for a just cause, or he says he's doing it for a just cause, or it is a interruption in good faith. Whereas when anybody else interrupts to correct him, he says that that's sort of, not on. It's the most hypocritical and horrible things that they're doing.
No intellectual consistency, no honesty, no. It's just bad. But it's okay because Jasper's here. Hello, Jasper. Good to see you. A few other people have dropped in as we've been going. I'm trying to wave at everybody as you come in, but it's hard. I do appreciate y'all.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, if we miss
nice seeing
anybody,
everybody.
you are very welcome, and it's good to see you all. It really is. But people, occasionally you miss people. I've sort of just I've just accepted that on my channel that you can't do a show and keep 100% of attention on chat at the same time. It's just
for sure. I mean,
your show will absolutely suffer. Yeah.
There are streamers who do just chill and hang out streams, and they'll have YouTube and Twitch and often their own website. And just those three chats they can't keep up with, let alone try to do debates or a review or whatever, whatever the case may be. Andrew Christopherson.
Yeah, big shout out to Andrew.
Yeah. Andrew has a shout out. I've seen this video. The Birdman did a hell of a takedown of Fladzoid recently. It is pretty epic. Now it's only like a part 1 because Birdman had some business, some unfinished business in Japan to see to, and I feel bad for whatever Shogun pissed him off. But the brief rebuttal is just, Fladzoid has gotten Birdman to choose violence, and ooh, that's kind of scary. So yeah. Oh, part 2 out today, perhaps. Interesting. I'll have to see if I can find that. I've been a little busy today. I'm pretty busy most days, TBH. But I do a lot of driving, and sometimes I see videos. I listen to videos while driving. Birdman is a good one for that because he doesn't often have a lot of visuals to look at. Audiobooks are nice too. I should get Audible to sponsor me because I'm constantly listening to audiobooks. I digress. I'm on a tangent again. Let's continue, shall we? Well, let's try to finish this debate today. We've gone 3 minutes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm in a weird mood today. I really am. I apologize.
Same. It's fine. And the most important thing is we're all having fun. I mean, we're not flat earther's not going to change anyone's mind on anything. It's just shit to laugh at this point. But yeah, we're all here. We're hanging out. We're vibing. Yeah, and I enjoy it. I dig it. So yeah. But let us continue.
If gravity works, but we obviously know that's not the case. We know instead that density and buoyancy can perfectly predict falling and rising objects without the need of gravity.
They cannot.
No. No. They absolutely cannot.
Oh, we see. This is why we have only gotten like 4 minutes in, because we have to stop him like every sentence and correct something. So we covered this last week. TLDR. Density and buoyancy depend on gravity to even calculate, but also, as we previously discussed in this episode, no, that's not even if you had density and assumed buoyancy, you still need a direction for things to fall, them to fall. So
and they sort of dance around it, saying, "Oh, well, they go towards their natural resting place," or they will say, "Hey, that's the electromagnetic kind of attraction direction," and it none of it makes any sense to me whatsoever. Like they can't. They're basically saying, "Hey, instead of the gravitational constant, we'll just put that number in, right, and do all the calculations with that number, assuming the gravitational constant." And it's like, well, what is it then? What's causing it? And sort of so people like Witz that say, oh well, it's the changes in electromagnetism kind of thing, and it's like, yes, but that's not a constant. Where are you getting the constant from?
Sorcery.
Yeah. I always ask Globers, explain buoyancy using the word gravity. They say one of two things. They say, well, gravity's in the equation, which is a circular logic and basically saying the textbook told me so, or they immediately jump to density. So again, I'll ask, explain buoyancy using gravity.
Density is important to buoyancy. Density is important to buoyancy because like things that are dense, they will break the surface tension of the water and they will be pulled down. But things that aren't dense can float because the weight is what? I don't understand that. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, he's not. It's so wild to see such. We see a lot of straw men doing these debate reviews. We see a lot of straw men, but to see somebody build such flimsy straw men of straw men and then immediately knock them down, it's like, what are you doing, my guy? You're not. Nobody thinks you're defeating the Globers. You're demonstrating how ignorant you are. That's all you're doing here. Wowzers.
What I want to say is that I don't even consider the globe model to be a scientific model at all.
oh, well, if he doesn't consider it, well, then
Yeah.
I guess we all got to hang up our globes and maps and things. We got to stop using Google Earth, everyone. No more intercontinental light speed communications between people on opposite ends of the planet. Clearly, that's not really happening. We're just imagining. Mark, I'm a figment of your imagination. Did you know?
Oh, I knew it. I knew it. I knew you were too awesome to be actually real. I knew it. Deep down, I knew.
Oh, secretly, you're all just brains in vats. The flat Earth, it's a deeper level of reality, but even that isn't really real. You're all brains in vats, every one of you.
Even flat earthers have stopped going to solipsism, like hard solipsism, the idea that we could all be in the matrix, or nothing really exists. Even they've stopped doing that, because I think in any debate, when you're appealing to hard solipsism, you kind of have lost the debate there, and you're basically saying, but how do you know you're real? It's like, okay, why are you in this debate if no one around you is real? Like, seriously, why are you even here?
Yeah, who are you trying to convince you're right if you're the only person?
Right. Right. It's sort of you're essentially, that is really pigeon chess when someone goes to that. It really is knocking over the board and saying, well, you can't be sure you're real. I'm pretty confident at this point. Pretty confident.
Extreme main character syndrome. Behold, Lawrence has arrived.
Hey, Milwaukee Atheists. Hey.
That's a joke from it's been a little while, but the last time I was over on Milwaukee Atheists, they had 4 custom emojis, and one of them was behold, and it's like a running joke. If you haven't checked out the stream, you should, because it's I haven't been keeping up to date with what's been going on over there, but there's yes, the behold, but there's a backlog of stuff, apocryphal stuff. The tale of Thecla was a it's there's so much fun shit. Y'all should definitely check it out if you can. We're just all our friends make such enjoyable content. I can't help it. I get excited about our community.
I think it is a brainwashing, satanic, and religion. And I'll just stick to religion so that I'm not saying anything too inflammatory. But most people do not know the rotation of the Earth, the speed of the rotation. Most people do not know, for instance, that the sun is also moving around some distant object.
Yeah,
and even the Globers don't even want to.
I'm
pretty sure they do, like one rotation every day.
I think most people they may not know, it's 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, but also 0 miles per hour at the pole, and do the algebra to figure out the in between.
Yep.
I don't think people really care that the sun is orbiting the center of the galaxy. Like, at some level, they know it, but they don't really care, because they'll be dead for centuries before it makes any difference in even the constellations we see locally,
Yeah.
It's
and we don't measure rotation in kilometers per hour or miles per hour. That's not how we measure rotation. We measure rotation in revolutions per minute, RPM.
15 degrees per hour. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. Rip Bob. Rip Bob. He did so much for the unintentionally for the globe side. I Rip Bob. You will be missed by us. Maybe not the flat earthers, but definitely by us.
Yeah, I mean, well, so that's a thing. We do engage with the flat earth community in different ways. Some people, I mean, people are people. You have to treat other people like humans first and foremost. And even though some of them, like Flatzoid's partner in the debate that Mark and I took them in on, have some distinctly anti-humanist views on certain things. There's a little bit of hatefulness in their hearts sometimes. But, like, even when you disagree with a person who is sometimes being blatantly dishonest, I don't know if Bob was a witsit or if he was just an honestly misled person. I don't know that much about him. But, like, you can still honor a person's memory even if you disagree,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm silly. I'm definitely
No,
silly,
no.
but
Yeah,
you know,
you have been known to be,
it's
Ems.
true.
You definitely have been known to be.
Yeah.
Bring this up. You also didn't mention anything at all about all the sun, moon, planets, and constellations that are following along on the ecliptic path. Now, I'm assuming that your explanation for this would be that all of these celestial bodies are on the same orbital plane. What that means is you make fun of flat earthers for thinking the earth is flat when you guys think the universe is flat. And I've read in scientific textbooks that they literally said this, so I don't really understand how one could be flat and one could not be flat. I also want to mention that
You don't
mentioned,
understand why something inside something else, one can be spherical and the other can be flat. And I don't think they're talking about flat in the same way as we'd sort of look at geometry on the earth. Okay, that's really weird. Like, don't you understand how a square box could have a circular thing in it? Do you understand that? Okay, that's weird. That's very weird.
Yeah. Also, Icy Spin mentions Glober Mom passed away, apparently. I'm
Oh,
sorry to hear that.
that's terrible.
Weirdly, I didn't know her from
Yeah, I didn't.
FTFE or MC Tunes community. I've only hung out in MC Tunes chat a couple of times, but I was on several streams with her over on Slim Cyborg's channel, and yeah, she's good people. So I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, rip Glober Mom. That's very unfortunate. I mean, it happens to all of us eventually. Absolutely. Cancer is fucking awful.
Yeah. That is one of the biggest things that we have to address, is sort of our own bodies attacking us, and I don't know anybody that hasn't had their lives touched by cancer in some way, either through a friend, family member, some way. But having said that, the biggest problem in our societies, the modern Western societies, is heart disease. So that's also something we have to, there's so many problems in our society. Does the shape of the earth really matter when it comes to that stuff? No.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit. This is what pisses me off about politicians, is they're bitching about made up stories about cats being devoured in Springfield, while there's Nazis marching in Columbus, that there's all this stupid stuff. Oh, trans people are going to use the bathroom. Heaven forbid we put some money into more health research. It's so infuriating. We have real problems. We have the fake problems. We have the real problems. And then we have existential threats. And we're ignoring both of those two things in order to focus on the fake bullshit. I need the clip for I don't want to live on this planet anymore. But I sadly, I don't have that. The only one I've got from Futurama is this one.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Which, it's still legit. Yeah. Yeah, it's all distractions. Distraction politics, because they have no fucking solutions. And it drives me crazy. I was with my kids earlier, because my kids were over. My youngest is home from college for the holiday here in the US. Clearly, now one can run for any elected office up to and including presidency without your past making any difference at all. You don't need any policies. You don't. So yeah, maybe I should run. I should be like, fuck all this bullshit. We're doing some science, bitches.
Well, it's ridiculous. The first trans senator, I believe, or
Congresswoman.
Congresswoman, sorry.
She's in the House, but yeah.
She's being harassed by some people about bathrooms and stuff, and it's like, you are out of your freaking minds. Like, all she's trying to do is represent her constituency, and you're acting like. And meanwhile, they put up people like Matt Gaetz for the attorney general. Like
Mhm.
out of those two people, the one that you should be worried about assaulting women is Matt freaking Gates, because he is a reprehensible human being. They've taken away the nomination now, sort of like given it up, but it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, and everything that woman has done as a trans person has actually really impressed me, especially when her opponent attacked her and she refused to attack them back. That was really, really big of her. That, you know, really, really good behavior. And meanwhile, you have these absolute reprehensible idiots in there who are making a song and dance about her behavior. What about yours?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina is getting on stage,
Yes.
ranting and raving about sexual predators being.
Mhm.
This woman's been in government for 10 years and she's got
Yep.
fewer complaints. She has 0 complaints, as opposed to the person Nancy was standing next to, who is a convicted sexual predator when she
Yeah.
was talking about the risks. Oh my goodness. I'm contemplating doing a show, probably a pre-recorded video, just so I can compose my thoughts. I don't know for sure if I'm going to do it because it's not the tone I want for my channel, but maybe I will, because I get so enraged about this. How she's been going off about how anyone who challenges her on why she's so obsessed with other people's genitals, and she's literally targeting one specific person with all of this. Like,
Yep.
what is her deal? She just goes off on these wild tears about, I'm a rape survivor, and you saying that I'm being unfair, that's
Mhm.
using my trauma against me. And I'm like, bitch, as a rape survivor, I find your use of rape survivor to red herring away from the shit you're doing wrong even
Yep.
more offensive. Fucking stop it. So I'm probably, I don't know, maybe I'll do it on one of the extraneous channels that I don't have time to do stuff for anymore. Or maybe I won't, because I need some mental health in my life. I need some peace. But
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
there's that angry fire in the burning in the bosom, if you will, the righteous fury that wants to put her in her fucking place, because she's completely off the damn reservation with this shit. But I once again, I digress. Although that digression, I think, because it was a little more dramatic, maybe because it was political, people seem to be here for it. We had a lot of people stuck around for that one, whereas the previous one, like 12 people left. I don't know. I don't know what you people like, but we're doing our thing over here. We're trying to have a nice time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we manage it. It's all good. Right. Let's continue.
I don't know. Maybe it's a mistake. I would rather be true to myself and what I believe than be popular. And maybe that's a mistake. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong, but I would rather do that.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we talked a little bit about that when I was over on your channel for Reading Room. How there's that balance between aiming for what's popular so that you can be heard, but also sticking to what you actually want to do. Because if you do just popular stuff, you're never going to get to say what you want to say, why you're here in the first place. It's rough. We just all do our best. At least, well, those of us with good intentions do our best. There's a lot of people who do not have good intentions. Exhibit A, Ben. Well, down here for you guys. It's over on this side on my screen. But Ben notice he's I don't know what his game is, but it's not being honest.
You mentioned that I never met with any of the Globebusters. I'm pretty aware of their thoughts and watching their videos. And so I just like to bring up someone from your side. And no, Sacred, it's not who you think it's going to be. I'm going to mention somebody better. How about Dr. Fauci? I'm pretty sure Dr. Fauci's not a flat earther. And why do I bring this up in this debate? Well, because we're talking about science.
What does that have to do with anything?
Oh, Fauci, he's now being held responsible for the conspiracy to change the Earth's shape. I mean, what are you doing, guy?
Damn it, Fauci.
What are you doing, my guy? Like, seriously, you can't blame Fauci for the shape of the Earth. What is he, a virologist, a medical professional?
A virologist, I think possibly, what was the term for it? Epidemicologist?
Oh, epidemiologist.
Is that what that is?
Epidemiologist?
I'll just Google what is Fauci's job title. If I can spell it. Fauci's title, just director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease.
Mm-hmm.
And NIAID, yeah, not NIAID. Book of Revelations, the NIAID, the NIAID.
No!
It's spelled very differently. But I mean that's the initialism, the acronym NIAID. Okay, it's different. We're safe. We're safe.
He's an immunologist. He's actually an immunologist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool stuff. Okay, anyway. Our friend was about to slander Dr. Fauci. Let's see how this goes.
Right? And he himself says he's the science. The science is settled. Get your mask, get your boosters. And why do I mention this? Because the globe model, it tries to eliminate the concept of God. It tries to make you feel.
It does not. The vast majority of Christians and members of other faiths accept that the world is fucking round. I mean, Jesus. Yeah, Jesus. Damn it, Jesus. Where's my Jesus? I don't have my buttons.
Jesus.
I don't have my button. We'll have to settle for your Jesus in chat. Ta-da!
I don't get how this is relevant to the shape of the Earth. Like, I really don't understand. It has nothing to do with it. Like the Fauci thing, I think he's trying to angle at, fake coronavirus or whatever. It's got nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. It could be, every single disease could be fake, and it has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. This is just dog whistling for his audience. So, the government lies to us kind of thing. It's really important to understand that, hey, nobody thinks the governments around the world tell the truth all the time. Nobody thinks that. But that's no reason to think every single thing that's ever been uttered by some government is the opposite is true. If the government says don't eat paint chips, don't eat paint chips with lead in them, please. The government isn't lying about that.
It could be big paint trying to get you to, repaint your room or something. I don't.
Yeah, or
these damn lobbyists.
Lead is really bad for you.
Yeah, it's there's an FDA rule regulating how many lead-based paint chips can be in certain foods. We don't just say no, none. There's an allowable amount. Yeah.
Oh, that's what? What?
There's a lot of shit our government does. It's like, what? My goodness. But yeah, this whole the globe is not out to disprove God. I mean, the fact that it contradicts his specific interpretation of the Bible means that his version of God definitely doesn't exist. But that in no way, I mean, as an atheist minister, I can confidently say it in no way disproves the concept of any God, let alone all the gods. Wild.
Yeah, and sort of I taking the most objective sort of reference possible. The Bible in no way says anything about the shape of the Earth. Like, it really does not. I don't know where they get that from.
It's it's in it. Well, they all have to interpret shit. It's just making shit up. My made up shit is better than your made up shit.
Feel insignificant. When you do question the narrative, it's, oh, that's not adequate proof. my proofs absolutely prove the globe. Now, I will admit in my presentation, I did say a couple times, this is positive proof of the flat earth. I'm 100% sure, but I was very sparing with it. Using your rhetoric, everything you have to say is, this absolutely proves the globe, no other way to do it. And so I just like to suggest that you look at your own rhetoric and you lead with facts rather than assertions, because you have to prove your assertions.
To clarify on this point, to dispel the illusion that he's trying to create, in last week's episode, in part 1, we saw in Red's opening, he gave 4 really strong pieces of evidence, including the fact that equatorial mounts for telescopes function. They cannot function on anything other than a sphere. It won't work on a square. It won't work on a donut. It won't work on a flat, non-rotating plane. The fact that you can buy an equatorial mount and set your camera up and track the Milky Way for a long exposure, if you really want to, you can do that. You can do that at home yourself, and for relatively cheap. That by itself proves we live on a rotating sphere. But
so
you know,
basically,
assertion.
Red's rhetoric was these, okay, so here's how this works and here's everything about it. He went into great detail with these very simple 4 things, but went into great detail about how they're very strong, overwhelmingly strong evidence that the Earth is a globe. You know, if you want to call that a proof, 4 proofs, basically. Things that you can do, test yourself, etc. You know, the reason why he wasn't doing that, what the other guy, Bandnose, wasn't doing that, because he was just throwing stuff out, just whatever he could throw out, kind of thing. So it's not Red's rhetoric's fault that he has these really solid, really well sort of laid out proofs for the shape of the Earth. You're basically going, well, I didn't investigate all of the claims that I made with any kind of depth and outline exactly how they showed the Earth to be flat. Okay, why not? Why were you just throwing crap? Like, why didn't you go into exact? Like, a lot of them were like, oh, it's in the Bible. So what? How does that show what shape the Earth is? It's ridiculous. No.
Yeah, I have another book, newer than the Bible, a little bit more reliable, written by a person we can confirm existed at the very least. It's the travel journal, the ship log of Magellan. Turns out, according to Magellan, the verifiable real person who existed, the planet is fucking round. So my book says a thing too.
Rather than just saying, oh, this proves the globe. How do I know it proves the globe? You didn't define
90 seconds.
You didn't define the globe model. So when you say this proves the globe, I really don't even know what you mean, especially when you keep using the term round. Flat pizza is round. Just because it's not a sphere, it's also round. So I prefer if you Globers would actually use the term sphere, but that's just personal preference. Now, you mentioned the boat, and on the clear day, if the boat was tall enough, you still would be able to see it. And one more point about the SpaceX rocket, I do believe I'm absolutely right, and I clearly pointed this out. When you rise in elevation, you can see farther. You're being dishonest in trying to say that that isn't true when it's absolutely true. The rocket rising up in elevation allows it to see more, meaning it's now in the field of vision of the sun. I really don't understand how you don't understand that. And I'm being very clear. I showed a 1,500-foot TV tower. The horizon expands as you rise up. Obviously, you could see more land when you're on an airplane. It's very, very common and absolutely true that when you rise up, you could see more of the flat Earth. And so that is my explanation for why the rocket was illuminated. How much time?
10 seconds.
All right. Well, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah,
he didn't really address any of his points until like 5 minutes towards the end. Like, he really just reiterated. It wasn't like a rebuttal. It was like a second introduction with stuff that he just, wanted to dwell on or just throw more stuff. He didn't really address any of the things, and sort of, I don't know why increasing the elevation on a flat plane would increase the amount you can see. If you increase elevation, you're actually further away. So unless you're like increasing elevation to see over obstacles like hills or something like that, I don't
or like
understand.
the curvature of the Earth.
Or the curvature of the Earth, yeah. But assuming that it's a flat plane, unless there's a hill in the way that you're elevating to see over, it's not going to help you see any further because it's actually further away the more you rise up in altitude.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. Like if depending on the shape of the atmosphere above the flat Earth, you'd get different refractions, different ways the light would bend. And if we had like the traditional dome over the bell jar dome over our pizza Earth, then not only would we see reflections of the sun in weird places, but we'd also see reflections of the ground in the dome, assuming it's the kind of dome that can reflect.
Oh, I think the firmament prevents that. The firmament
maybe
prevents that for some reason. Well, he does believe in the dome because he said that the US military tried to break through the dome with Operation High Jump. I think it was. They were trying to crack the dome.
Overlord. That was the one with the bombs in space.
Operation
High Jump was.
I think he said both.
The Antarctic ice wall.
Both.
The impenetrable Antarctic ice wall that brought us pictures of what's on the other side of the ice wall. But you can't, no matter how high you go, you can't get past the ice wall. But never mind.
Right.
It's great. Yeah. Aunt Jur is here. Hello. Good to see you. He's very nervous sounding, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of people have noticed he sounds like he's on the verge of tears, that kind of thing. But it's just.
Well, I think he expected a whole bunch of claims like he's doing, because really all he did was throw out claims, whereas Red's Rhetoric didn't go so much for claims as for very thoroughly investigated pieces of evidence that really shatter that, and he can't really refute them. So now he's gone to, well, you didn't define your model. Are you serious, my guy? Are you serious?
How dare you? You didn't do the thing I demanded you do.
Well, it's like, how much definition do you want? You didn't define yours either. You just said it was a flat Earth. You haven't told us how big it is. You haven't told us the height of the dome over the Earth. You haven't told us anything about it. So, what are you talking about? Yeah,
bring us a model, Chief. My goodness, we've been waiting for one for ages. And I mean, instead of complaining about I want definitions, maybe ask specific questions. What is it you want to know in particular? How far away is the moon? We can answer that specific question. How fast does the Earth rotate? We can answer that specific question. What is it you want to know? And we'll try to tell you.
Flattening the globe in real time. Holy. Man said, I want all the smoke. I'm not gonna take my shades off. It's easy. Level head, let's go.
Whoever this is just obnoxious. So I think that the moderator is a flat earther, and he's I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. It sounds weird.
It's a Twitter person named Sacred who he's very pro biblical literalism, as you can imagine. And yeah, it's his room, if you will.
All right, now, but Rez ain't going down without a fight. He's swinging out the air right now. Let's see if the gravity going to hold back them punches. Hold on, let me reset this timer. Send me your tweets, what y'all think so far. It's getting kind of crazy.
You can do it. You can do it.
Back up from the mic, Rez. I know you're ready. Stop breathing so hard, bro. All right, here we go. Timer starts when you go.
Thank you. Well, that was incredibly disappointing, I have to say the least.
Fair.
So let's go in reverse order. No, geometry is the topic of the debate. The geometry of our planet is the topic of the debate, and I will stick to it. I'm sorry you weren't given that memo, but that is what I decided to do when I came here, was prove the geometry of our Earth, show which model best comports with reality, and I did that fantastically. You have yet to debunk a single thing I brought up, because you continuously bring up things I did not bring up. For example, I did not bring up the motion of the Earth. I did not bring up Sir Isaac Newton. I did not bring up gravity. I did not bring up the speed of light. I did not bring up satanic worship or whatever the fuck you were talking about. I didn't bring up religion in any context. Why are you constantly bringing things up that I did not bring up? And most importantly,
It's
why
red
are you bringing
herrings.
things up that have apps?
It's red
for
herrings.
sure.
That's all
For
it is.
sure.
It's just red herrings. It's just he does not want to actually talk about the evidence that Red has provided. So he's just throwing stuff in order to distract him. That's all it is red herrings. Oh, but this is a satanic cult of demon worshippers that descended from the Masons. That's all it is. It's like, I don't actually want to talk about the stuff that you put out there. So I'm just going to throw stuff. What has it got to do with the shape of the earth? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I love the way Red is just like, I made a list. Let's go down and people who've been with this channel for a long time know I fucking love lists. And he just went boop, 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 boop.
Yep.
Absolutely nothing to do with the geometry of our planet. At this
I was in a room where that happened the other day, and I don't know if you've been watching my room rumbles lately. There's a guy called Joel. He's obnoxious. He's an idiot. He's very, very problematic to me. And sort of he did this kind of thing, and I start going through it, and you know, they don't want you to go through all their points. I love that he's got, like, if this was an open discussion like they have on modern day debate, this flat earther would not let him go through these points. Even though they're the points that he brought up, he would go, oh, you're gish galloping. And I was accused of that. And it's like, they're all your points. Like, this is ridiculous. You know, yeah, he's just going through and annihilating him, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we love to see. It's so much fun. Oh, this is what we covered these crazy ass debates for. Is this kind of shit just wham? It's speaking of wham, we have a Fern Lovebond. Hello, Fern. Sends a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Fern. And says, sliced a bit off my thumb. Holy crap. Ooh. Just out of urgent care. Can't hang because damn tired. Fair. I sympathize. Live long and prosper. And green heart, you both. Trans flag and pirate flag. Avast, matey.
I hope you're okay, Fern. That sucks. Wow.
Yeah, I hope they managed to successfully. I mean, you know, being a Fern, grafting things back on.
Oh, that's true. That's true. It's much easier. Yeah.
Hopefully, we can hope. Yeah. But yeah, I hope you feel better soon. It's just, yeah. I mean, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, today was a laser in the face day, and my face is very sore. And even though it's just photons, it triggers a healing response, and that draws the energy out of you. And you know, you've got an actual injury. You've got a healing response. So yeah, take care, and try to feel better. Yeah. Ta-ta for now. Yay.
Thanks, Fern.
Yeah, appreciate you. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah.
At this point, you're not engaged in the debate. You are engaged in preaching. So here's what I'm going to suggest you do. Open up a church, because that's where you belong. Because what you're doing right now is demonstrating that flat earth is not a scientific argument. Flat earth is a scientifically inept religion, because you constantly go back to religious statements, and you constantly bring up what I'm going to call is irrelevant subjects, which is kind of a breach of the 9th commandment, if I do say so myself. I did show you that water curves. Your nuh-uh is not an argument, because I showed you the Tampa Bay skyline observation. I showed you the rocket disappearing behind the curve observation. And also I showed you the ship over the horizon observation from MC to MC1. I showed you my sailboat over the curve observation as well. Again, you did not address any one of those. Your nuh-uh is not an argument. And no, the NASA document is not an admission. Either you didn't read it, or you are again breaching the 9th commandment for the flat earth cause. The NASA document is telling you that it's a computer model, and it's a simplified model of reality. They used a simplified model because they didn't need super accurate precision. Not only that, with the processing power that they had at the time, it would not be feasible. The computers that we had at the time would have a run to failure time of around 8 hours. If you add too many variables, the processing time would extend past that time, the time that the computer is good for calculating that shit. And so they made some simplifications.
When was it? 80s? Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. Back in the 80s, we didn't have that kind of processing power. He's not wrong.
It's true. It's true.
Think about it. Like, you know, I've got 32 gigabytes of RAM in my computer, right? Back in the 80s, you had like the Commodore 64 bits of RAM, like 64 bytes of RAM. I think it was bytes of RAM.
I want to say kilobytes. It's
yeah,
not that
you're
important.
right. Yeah, 64 kilobytes. Yeah, you're right.
The only reason because I go to this, there's a convention in a nearby city called Retro Game Con, and there's a bunch of retro things, especially video game things, running around the universe lately. But this one, it's one of the best in the nation, and that's just not me saying it. That's like the people who go to every event and rate these things.
Yeah.
So it's very, very good. And one of the things that makes it really cool is half of the main convention floor is old computers, consoles, etc., set up so you can play the retro games for free. It's included with admission. You can go to this convention, not go to any of the panels, any of the workshops, any of the main stage events. You can ignore the vendors, none of it. You could spend the entire weekend just going from station to station playing these retro games and still get your money's worth. It's amazing. And they have several Commodore 64s, both original and retro restore type deals. And I played a couple of games on one. I got killed in this weird game where you're like in a crypt hunting mummies to try to get a key to get out. It's weird shit. And like you go through the boot up screen and it says, you know, X number of basic bytes available. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Well, don't forget that so 64 kilobytes, sorry. It's 1,000 kilobytes in a megabyte and 1,000 megabytes in a gigabyte. So it basically, my home computer has 500,000 times the power of that Commodore 64, which I had at home, kind of thing. So that's roughly the level that we've progressed in the amount of time since the 80s.
Yeah. Whose law is that computer capability doubles every 18 months? I can't remember I'm so bad with names. I'm better with names than I used to be, but
that is, oh god, yeah, no, I'm gonna kick myself. Moore's law. Moore's.
That sounds right. Yeah. Oh, Rochester's on it too. Yeah. Hooray.
Yeah, Moore's law.
We are in accord.
Explicitly in the document. It's not an admission of anything. Clearly, you did not read it. Next, the Starship was a test launch. Here's the thing. Falcon 9s have exploded in the past. Falcon 9s have failed to land in the past, and yet it is one of the most successful launch vehicles in existence. Oh, and RUD, Rapid Unscheduled Disassembly, was coined by Elon, the guy that you're now thanking for this Twitter space. It's a joke. Yeah. It's a joke acronym. Usually we just say it exploded, but Elon decided to call it a RUD because he's a meme lord. Hell, did you know the original name for Starship was BFR? Can you guess what that stands for? He literally named his Tesla cars after a meme. Model S, Model 3, which is a backwards E, Model X, Model Y. What does that spell? Sexy. You're losing your shit over a joke acronym. And this is supposed to impress me as evidence for the flat earth somehow. Next, order does not mean ID. Look up Conway's Game of Life. That's all I'm going to say about that, because quite frankly, I'm not here to argue intelligent design. I'm here to argue geometry. Again,
Conway's Game of Life.
No.
It's a very simple computer program that basically it will create, if two things are next to one another, it will create another one. And it basically is a really simplified version of how life works. But essentially, depending on how you start it up, it will do all of these patterns, and it's incredibly complex. But it's all sort of random of start, or it's deterministic, but it depends on how you start it to how it comes out. And some of them are stable. it will stabilize kind of thing. It's a really interesting and fascinating program. I can't remember the rules of it. It's like if two are next to one another, it will make a third. If something is isolated, it will be taken out. But all it does is these very simple rules. But what comes of it is this incredibly complex patterns that sometimes stabilize into patterns that do not change at all, kind of thing. Yeah, okay, so the rules are for each cell with one or no neighbors dies as if by solitude. Each cell with 4 or more neighbors dies as if by overpopulation. Each cell with 2 or 3 neighbors survives. For a space that is empty and unpopulated, each cell with 3 neighbors becomes populated. And that's the only rules it uses, like incredibly simple. But if you start it, it will actually create these incredible patterns depending on what it starts with.
I pulled up a I'll drop a link for this in the chat so people can play with it too. There's an explanation of the rules too, but I just started a random thing and it's doing stuff. There is I already said there's an there we go. Explanation. So yeah, it's a thing and you can just do it. You could just play with it if you wanna. What's this do? Ooh, it makes the board tiny. That's neat. Wow. Pew, pew, pew. I'm oh shit, I lost it. I am easily amused, as you may be aware. Ooh, I started a reaction. Oh no, what's happening? Well, this restabilized, but now this shit's all up doing it. We should do a whole stream just about this, just messing with this thing. That's neat.
Yeah.
And
it's a very simple thing, but it shows how sort of life, what seems like random patterns can stabilize into these very, very ordered things. And it seems random, but it's kind of not. And it works on very basic rules. It's very cool.
Oh, I keep winding up with these pulsy things. I don't know. It's not important. I'm amused, and it's relevant. A relevant thing. We're like, yeah. Wait, who's looking for a third? What now? What now? What'd I miss? Never mind.
I did not bring up gravity, and no, heavier does not matter. Again, look at the vacuum chamber video of feathers and bowling balls. You can definitely see that they fall at the same depth. Your buoyancy doesn't explain that. What you consider my model is also irrelevant because I told you what the geometric consequences are for living on a globe Earth. And all 7 of my points, which is more powerful than 50 things that you could possibly put up, all of my points show the geometric consequences of living on a spherical Earth. They show that the round Earth model comports with reality, which is what I was here to do. And I believe I did that awesomely. Next, again, going back to religion, I just want to emphasize that it's not relevant, so I already went over that. Next, argument from ignorance. Most people being ignorant of a certain fact. 5 minutes. Thank you. Most people being ignorant about a certain fact of reality does not change reality itself. Hey, band notice, let me ask you something. There's a car parked right next to me. What is the make and model of that car? What color is it? You don't know. Does that change what it actually is? Does that change the color it actually is? No. So your ignorance of that fact does not change the fact that it is a model and that it has a color. So
careful with the ad-homs, but you got it.
Yeah, of course. Next.
What ad-hom? I don't... Your ignorance of it. Like, this is the thing. When you're saying to somebody, hey, you're ignorant of this, you're not ad-homing them. Like, I realize that people go, oh, well, you're ignorant, and that may be an ad-hom, but he's not saying your ignorance of this. It is a word that means a specific thing. It's like, I am ignorant of how engines work. I'm not good at it. I don't understand it. I am ignorant of that knowledge. Like, we've got to get away from this thing of saying, hey, because you are ignorant of something, oh, well, you're calling me stupid. No, not at all. You just are not, you're not knowledgeable about that subject. You have no knowledge of the subject. all of us are ignorant about a lot of things. And flat earthers are generally ignorant of physics. They are. They don't understand how it works.
I'm freaking muted. How dare? Damn it, Ember.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's you're not attacking the person. You're describing the situation. So yeah.
Mm.
He was that is a subject about COVID and anti-vax nonsense. Vaccines, viruses, masks, whether they're effective or not, or Dr. Fauci being a douchebag, has absolutely nothing to do with the shape of the earth. Holy shit, dude. Next, I never said you couldn't see further with elevation. The round earth model perfectly explains that. I brought up my drone video where I showed me rising with altitude with the drone up to 1,638 feet, and I could see further. Yes, another thing that I observed was the horizon dropping. So I had an arrow set at the horizon. As my drone gained altitude, the horizon dropped. So let's go over this one more time. You did not provide any evidence for the flat earth. You did not show how your model best explains what I've seen. You don't have any sort of expert testimony instead of this no-name F-16 fighter pilot that, okay, let's go ahead and say that he said something. I don't care. I want actual evidence. I don't want hearsay. If all you can provide to me is hearsay, misinterpreted documents, your religious ideology, or your hate boner for Dr. Fauci, I'm going to say explicitly that you have lost this debate. And with that, there really is nothing more to say. I relinquish the rest of my time to the moderator.
Mike,
what an
drop.
actual slaughter. Yeah, but he's right. He didn't address anything he had to say. Now that he mentions it, he did show that drone footage and how the horizon drops. Like, what explanation is that on a flat plane? I don't... It's weird.
Yeah. I do enjoy I love I'm a sucker for the mic drop endings. Just the I've crushed you here and here and here and there's nothing left. So, you know, next.
Ooh, the confidence with 2.5 minutes left. Okay, Rez. Damn, hold on. Let me go and stop this timer. So that concludes our rebuttal phases. Guys, what do you think?
Okay, quick side note detour kind of thing. There's two things. First, Rochester says one way for people to gain real language skills is for them to learn more than one language. I very much agree. I once read in a novel, it's probably a paraphrase of a parable that someone else said a gajillion years ago, but it's what it is a person who speaks only one language doesn't understand any of them.
Yeah.
And I dig that. I dig that. The second thing is Oprah and Obama. I don't know what the hell is going on with that business, but here's a quick fact check on the Oprah thing that I'm dropping into the chat. It is false. Oprah did not say the thing that was alleged to have been said. So yeah, just to clear that up. I mean, I don't really care about Oprah's reputation, but you know, let's try not to spread misinformation, maybe. Yeah. Oh, hey, Doc Dino's here. Hello, Doc. Good to see ya. Doc says, so I just joined the stream and was witness to a biblical knockout. Please tell me the rest of this debate. Is this entertaining? So you'll have to go back to part one.
Knockout?
That's a good question. It's like...
Did someone hit another person with a Bible? Is that what we're talking about here? Just like...
Bible thumping. This is the Robin Webster edition. It's actually the NIV, but it works. Oh goodness. Eric Wander, member for 15 months. Fuck yeah. Glad to see you, Eric. Says, can I suggest a debate for debate review? Kent Hovind versus Dr. Massimo Piglucci. that guy. Does botany support creation or evolution? It's on YouTube and is 3 hours long. I mean, we can look into it.
Yeah,
We
can have a look.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if it's got possibility, we can take a look. And thank you for the suggestion.
That looks really old as well. That looks cool. Yeah, sure. I'll go through it. And oh wow, yeah, it's in the old style format.
Ooh, fancy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Catherine, that Oprah clip, it's mentioned in the fact check. Though that's literally fake news. It is clipped together out of context videos, and it says in the fact check where you can find the real unedited video where she very clearly does not say what it's alleged to have been said. People are literally lying to you, and the fact check explains how. In other words, don't believe every random clip you find on YouTube. There's a lot of people not telling you the truth for various reasons. All right, let's see what our friend comes back with after that biblical beatdown, as Doc puts it.
You heard the evidence. You heard the rebuttals. You heard the points. Who's taking it? Tweet at me. Let us know what's going on. Shout out to everybody in the listeners. Shout out to everybody in Red Stream. Let me do a quick roll call. Shout out to Marsh, David, Libra, Ken, Reese by Neil. What up, my guy? Facing Mussolini. Razazemia. Ant-Man, Non-Rep, Ivan, Third Eye, Sasha. Diligence and research and everything that's being said here. Shout out to my host, my co-host, Nicola and Proud Flerf. I really appreciate you helping me put this together. Shout out to the challengers for stepping up to the mic. I think this is a great event, one of many that we have coming in the future. And I'm really excited. This sounds really good so far. You got anything for Proud?
Awesome job, guys. Thanks for participating and just being a part. Again, we can't really have this conversation without you. So we thank you. Definitely check out Red Stream. He does a great job of putting his own work together. And yeah, you guys appreciate it. Appreciate it so much.
Yeah, this has been great. And I know y'all fuck with our promo video. Rez, why you didn't retweet the promo video? You know that shit was hard, my guy. Come on, show us some love, Rez.
Are they done? Are they just bullshitting for the rest of this?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's wild. I don't know. Let's
all right, so let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and go into the closing statements.
Oh, here
we're
we
gonna give you guys 5 minutes for closings. Hold on 1 second. Let me go ahead and reset this here. So each of the challengers get 5 minutes of closings. After that, we're gonna move into our Q&A, and we'll allow anybody to request the mic. You can ask each challenger a question, and then we're going to move through the hands. And then if you still have more questions, we'll just circle back to you. But that comes after the closing statements. Ben, I will relinquish the mic to you for your closing statement of the debate today, episode 45, Flatter Friday, Ben versus Red, Debate Gate. Let's go.
Okay, so they're finally getting around to closing statements. As is our usual habit, we'll probably skip the Q&A afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're nearly at the end of the part we're going to cover, folks. So yeah, thank you for hanging out. I know we're at 2 hours now, but they've only got their closings. We should be good. We can wrap this one up today. Eric Wander says, Dr. Massimo is a very respected biologist who wrote some really cool books like Denying Evolution and Evolution: The Extended Synthesis. Sounds fascinating. Yeah. And yeah, there's I see Spin also suggested the King Crocoduck debates. I don't think we ever covered those.
King Crocoduck is actually really good. Like his stuff on what was it? The geologic layers was just fantastic. The way that he looked at the conspiracy claim, I think it was radiometric dating. Yes, it was geology, radiometric dating. And the way that he looked at the statistical, like, because they said, oh, they're making it up kind of thing. So he looked at all the data and did a model for how we would expect it to look if there was any malfeasance going on in those radiometric dating centers. And it did not follow, it followed the exact curve of coming up with the correct results kind of thing. Like there's no possible way you could falsify it. They would all have to be working in tandem in a massive conspiracy kind of thing.
Yep, it's a conspiracy, folks, which is sort of the point. That's one of the reasons we cover these silly ass debates, is to demonstrate that whether you're talking about flat Earth or young Earth or transphobia or anti-vax or birds aren't real, they're all the same kind of nonsense, pseudoscience, conspiracy, and they make the same bad arguments in the same way for the same reasons. It's all the same garbage with a different brand label on top of it.
Yeah.
But still funny sometimes. Some of it's mean and hostile and whatnot, but we try to find the funny one. So yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my phone did cut off, but I did hear most of that. I would just like to say that I am
I
not
prefer
religious. At the
Middle
beginning
Earth,
of this
you know,
debate, I said I approach
Tolkien's.
things from a philosophical angle. I actually will state here.
You know, I was thinking maybe it was because of the mention of Dapper earlier, but I noticed maybe we got a raid or something earlier on because our view count, increased by 50% briefly. I didn't see
a
one
notification
either.
for it.
But when I popped over, I noticed that we actually had more likes than viewers at that particular moment. And so I thought of Dapper, and I'm like, I don't have to quote Bilbo because we've got plenty of likes. So yeah.
Okay.
It's just random things that come up. But if you haven't hit the like button and you are enjoying the stream, maybe please take a second to do that, because it only helps a little, but it does help a little. And honestly, this channel needs all the help it can get.
Look, every little thing helps, and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. I think that it'd be really nice to do, and I thank you for it. It's really, I think that all big things are made up of just everyday people doing small efforts, and I think that sort of with the way we're going in this society, we really have to just be a little bit kinder to one another.
Yeah, I agree. That's why both Mark and I and some of our other, good community members like Joe over at Kentucky Atheist and others we every single show we're shouting out channels. We're helping build the community. We're helping. I'm not saying everybody should do that. I'm not saying everybody should plug my existence on every show. I'm just saying that we all should do what is reasonably within our power to do to help, not me specifically, but if you enjoy a content creator, any content creator, maybe it's Mark, maybe it's MC Toon, maybe it's Rhetoric, anybody, maybe take a second and click the like button, maybe come back after the stream and leave a comment. Maybe if you really want to be super helpful, use that little share button to show other people this thing that you found enjoyable that they might like too. It makes a difference. It really, really helps. That's how this channel got built in the first place. That's how, all the channels in our community got built is people finding the things and spreading the word. That's the only way. We can't trust the damn algorithm. None of us are ever going to be. We're not doing crazy Mr. Beast stuff or screaming about how the Democrats are trying to give everyone rights or whatever other crazy nonsense you need to do to become a top 10 main page channel. It's just never going to be us because we're not like that. So yeah, just throwing that out there. And Eric Wander heeding the call it looks like a Jesus in that image. That's pretty cool. But Eric Wander gifting 5 Emberships. Thank you so much, Eric. Those went to Unapologetically Chrissy, Catherine MC, Marty Camejo, Sydney Raptor, which we know isn't your real name, Sydney, and S. Cook. Congratulations, folks. Thank you, Eric, and everybody enjoy the fun custom emojis with all the various buttons. Oh my goodness, there's so many. I enjoy that there's so many. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Really appreciate it. I know it's no problem for you, but it means a great deal to us. It means a whole load. Just even for the emotional support. We're not just here shouting into the void, Thank you so much, mate.
Yeah. It's you guys are the reason we do live streams. We could
absolutely.
We could definitely do pre-recorded stuff and it would be shorter. We could do it faster, but we enjoy talking to you guys, interacting with you guys, doing this whole. Sometimes you guys have better jokes than we do. It's wonderful. It's great. It's our favorite things to do, which is why we do that. So if you've watched this whole thing, if you're watching in the future, hello future people, and you've made it over 2 hours to get to this point, please do make sure you're subscribed to both channels, because Mark and I take turns. Next week we'll be over at Mark's place doing the next week's debate review. And you want to make sure that you can always get in on this fun. We would love to see you in a live chat in the future. So make sure you're subscribed to both. Thank you so much. And thank you to Eric, and thank you to Reggie earlier. There are lots of perks to membership, not just the emojis, not just the behind the scenes content, the stuff that's only available to members to watch, but also early access to a video coming out next week, different kind of content I've never done before. It's available to members right now. They can watch it. They can see what's going on. But also, when I have time, occasionally I do a members only stream. And if you're a member, you get to come to the stream. Just throwing that out there. I mean, my time is very short for me. I don't want to oversell it. It's not like I'm doing it weekly like Joe does, but sometimes I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Enough sales for the moment. Now that I've driven 20% of our audience away. It's probably past their bedtimes, honestly. It's starting to get a little late over here in the East Coast. Slightly late. Not super late, but slightly late. All right.
Slightly late, yeah.
Try to wrap up these closing statements.
Yeah.
Here and now that religion does not bring you to the truth. People might disagree with that, but I'm just saying that for the record. And then you kept invoking the ninth commandment. So I don't know, maybe you should check your own religion. You said at one point that when you lifted up on your drone, the horizon dropped. I kind of got excited for a second because I thought you were going to say you had video evidence of the earth curving away from you. Instead, you said a kind of ambiguous phrase of the horizon dropped. So I'm not really sure what you're meaning, but I have looked at other debates where you talked about that. And I could explain this perfectly. If you're on a beach and you're lying down and you watch the sunset, you could actually stand up and then watch the sunset again. I know you've said similar things about this where you.
I mean, not really though, but one thing that you can do if you time it right is if you happen to be at the Burj Khalifa, that big fucking building in the United Arab Emirates, and you watch the sunset at the ground floor and you happen to already be in the elevator and you push the button and the elevator goes up, you can make the sun come back up. The building is tall enough to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
and I think I showed drone footage last session of that a very good friend of mine, Anathema, made of a drone going up and the sun comes back over it dropped below the horizon. The drone goes up and you see the sun again, like the glow of the sun. We've got video evidence of this.
And that doesn't work on a flat earth because the fact the sun can even set doesn't make sense on a flat earth. Like where does the sun go? You look back at the old pre-Ptolemaic models of the flat earth where they've got the sun on a track where the sun goes underneath the coin of the earth.
Yeah.
Because even they knew it has to go below the horizon for that to make sense. Doc promises he's going to be producing dinosaur documentaries. I mean, absolutely, go for it. But if you manage to overtake T-Series or even PewDiePie, I mean, hell yeah, go for it. I'm just skeptical we can do that on the YouTubes. Like, we need an HBO special for that kind of thing. That's all I'm saying. maybe Travel Channel.
You had a friend who watched a sunrise from his high elevation drone, and then he dropped it and he was able to watch the sunrise again. This perfectly comports to the flat earth model in which when you raise an elevation, the horizon expands and you see more of that. Thank you very much for calling Fauci a douchebag. I 100% agree with you on that. I don't exactly agree with you on your boner for vaccines, but I'll forgive you for calling me ignorant and saying I'm not paying attention. And I did write down here that, no, this debate did not have anything to do with geometry. And at one point you said that you decided that it was about geometry. And
I mean, it's literally the
shape of
shape
the
of
Earth.
the Earth.
Yeah, how is that not geometry? Geometry is just the physical shape of things. That's all that it is. What are you talking about? What? Does he not know what geometry is? Like,
I don't
maybe he
think
doesn't know that geometry just means shape.
Maybe. And as Rochester points out, vaccines rock. Flu. I don't know about flu shots. I haven't gotten one of those in a long time. But I will say this about the C-19 vaccine, the cooties vaccine. As some of you know, I haven't told this story in quite a while. So for new folks, I am going to keep it short, but slight detour here. I got COVID really badly. Like I was dying.
Yeah.
I was in bad shape. I had long COVID. I'd have coughing fits, and I was constantly falling down. I fell through tables. I fell into a dishwasher and broke all the ceramic dishes. And I was constantly falling downstairs. I'm still a little afraid of stairs because I fell down so many stairs. And, you know, I fell downstairs into a concrete basement and busted my head open. And I had a seizure on a heating grate and like chewed the shit out of my skull. I barely missed my eyeball. It was a bad time. And it wouldn't go away. It wouldn't heal. 90 days in, I was still just screwed. And I had the brain fog and the constant exhaust. It was really, really bad. And then I got the vaccine and it stopped getting worse. Very, very slowly, it started getting better, but it stopped getting worse. So yeah, that vaccine, I don't know if I actually would have died. I can't say for certain that it saved my life, but it made my life a lot better. It made a big damn difference.
That's interesting. I know that I know there were different types of it. Like there was Pfizer and there was another one I think that they were doing over here, but you couldn't get the vaccine if you were currently had the virus kind of thing. I'm not sure why. But I will tell you, we got all of it for free. I get a flu shot every year for free. It's great. Don't get the flu. Or if you get it, it's so light, it's like a sniffly nose and you don't worry about it. But people are sort of like, well, if it was supposed to stop it, why is it still around? Why are we still, people still getting this stuff? Because it mutates people. It's called evolution. And the virus evolves. It actually evolves. And we have to update it to sort of keep it under control. But the thing is that it doesn't evolve so fast that we're going to get cases that are going to unalive people, basically. Because as Probing Time points out, a lot of people died. And if you want to know how many people died, they kept numbers on it. And it was, what I say, we were talking about this the other day. I think I said it was about 3 million in the US.
I know we went over 1 million. But it's hard to say because the president at the time took down the CDC's count.
Yes,
we're just going to hide that information.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah. Sterling says Moderna was another one.
Total
I got
over the entire 4 years, 4 to 5 years is about 1.2 million people.
Freaking wild.
Yeah, but let's get really angry about what bathroom you're using.
And the immigrants, they took their jobs or something. Not really though, but whatever. But yeah, Johnson & Johnson was the one I got because it was a single dose. Everything else was a 2-stage. And even though
we didn't have access to that.
Yeah, it was slightly less effective. I think it was like 85% effective, whereas the other two were like upwards of 96% effective. But yeah, it was not good. I mean,
yeah, we had Pfizer and there was another one I can't remember. Moderna was the other one. Yeah, Moderna.
Yeah. Shit, I can't find the thing. I did a photo project when I first got sick because it was really, really early on. I got it in the first week of March, and it was still that period where everybody's saying, "Oh, it's fake news. The media's overblowing it. It's just a flu and shit." So I because I was a photographer, I started making photo documentation. My eyes were completely red, so bloodshot that it was all blood. And there was, you know, the open wounds, like you could see bone on my forehead and all this shit. And I just got progressively worse. And around day 19, I had to stop taking photos because I didn't have the fucking energy. I couldn't do it. And it just, and I posted them. I'm like, keep telling me it's a flu. Fuck you. People are dying. I'm probably going to die, and I probably should have, but I'm just too damn stubborn. I'm just a mean old cur, and I just don't. I'm very hard to kill.
You're stubborn.
It's true.
Persistent.
Got shit
Love
to
it.
do. I wasn't pretty enough is the problem. Something like that. I don't know.
I just want to close my thoughts here by saying that a lot of people ask, why would they lie about the shape of the earth? And you mentioned the satanic cult, and let me at least defend my beliefs. I am saying right here now that the flat earth was created by God. You are not defining your globe model. So no matter how much you think you won this debate, you do not accurately describe your model. You do not accurately describe how the earth is moving or in which direction or where its origin is. If you brought me that car that you were mentioning in your analogy, I didn't really get how I wouldn't know the make or color. I could just look at it with my eyes. I wouldn't need a rendering software program to do it. But if you brought me that car and you said, hey, look at this car, I would say, oh, look, the make and model. That means its origin. So if you want to talk about a globe model, you have to talk about its origin. And don't try to pretend like the science textbooks don't talk about this. They certainly tell students the Big Bang happened 13.8 billion years ago. And so I am also disappointed in this debate because I was going to ask you questions about gravity, orbits, why the Earth doesn't fall into the sun, various other questions that I had. For instance,
what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? I mean, he said it himself, gravity and orbits. That's why the Earth doesn't fall into the sun. It's in orbit.
It's in orbit. It's a stable orbit.
Why? I really think this fellow, this band notice, he doesn't actually understand anything about what he thinks he's talking about.
No, he wants a religious debate. He wants a theological debate, like maybe a philosophical debate, while Red's rhetoric is engaged in a science debate. Like he's like, well, the geometry of the Earth, how do we prove that? Through scientific methodology, we can come up with the shape. He's not realizing that band notice is sort of like, well, defend your theological position on this. It's like, what are you talking about, my guy? We don't use religion to determine what shape the Earth is. We use science. What a nutter. I'm sorry, but he's on the God bus and he has the accelerator at the floor. Like, seriously.
He's driving to the edge of that flat cliff as fast as he can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's sort of, and the thing is, we don't use this methodology of faith and religion to determine anything else in our world. Like, we don't look at traffic and go, well, how should we set up traffic flow devices like traffic lights and things? Oh, well, I'll pray about it. That'll solve it. That'll tell me how many cars are going through a street at one time, or if food distribution's a problem. You know, we don't use science, we don't use statistics, we don't use analysis. No, we pray about it. That's what we do. And we make theological arguments. Nothing in our world that we're doing in engineering or science or sociology, or, you know, even designing cities, designing how to make life, we don't use religion for that. So I don't know why we would say, hey, let's just use theology to determine what shape the Earth is and whether rockets are feasible. What the hell? Seriously.
So, I'm reading in here that the value of pi is equal to 3. So clearly we should build the arches of our bridges based on this biblical geometry, because it's way better than humans' geography. You're trusting man science and not God science. And you see what happens. I mean, bridges fall down sometimes, right? It's because you're not trusting the word of.
That doesn't happen. That's just perspective.
That's right. It's foreshortening. The bridge didn't actually collapse. It just foreshortened into the river.
Yeah. It was unexpected force dismantling.
Yes, rapid, unscheduled dipping in the water.
Yeah.
Vacuum of space suck up the atmosphere, but it's clear you don't have an answer to any of those things. So you try to skirt the issue by saying, well, look at my equatorial telescope. Okay, that doesn't explain, again, how the Earth is rotating around the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. Maybe it does, but you didn't properly explain that to me. Okay, somebody who's never used that, I don't know. You can't just make an assertion. You have to prove it, and you have to prove it clearly so other people can understand.
Irony.
And
Irony. You can't just make an assertion. My Bible says that it's flat. What? What?
I kind of, with this sort of shit, it's absolutely the hypocrisy reaches levels of absurdity. That's what sets off the irony alarm. But I like to take it in a meta direction and be like, that sounds like a claim. Can you prove it?
Yeah.
Robin's here. Hello, Robin.
Hey, Robin.
I've been getting some mileage out of this Bible that Robin Webster sent me, because Robin Webster also huge proponent of the community. Did you know Robin has her own channel? She does. There's sometimes stuff on it. Like occasionally she does a show with Joe on Kentucky Atheist, and sometimes it gets broadcast on Robin's channel. So yeah, subscribe to Robin is what I'm saying.
Robin.
Hell yeah.
You continuously reference the fact that I'm religious. That's actually laughable. And as I said, I'm more from a philosophical point of view. But I will say that one of the reasons why I brought up Fauci and the cult of science is that they do not want you questioning the narrative. They do not want you trusting your own instincts.
That's why, yes, the cult of science doesn't want you to question. That's why we're constantly explaining and answering questions. That's like the primary thing we do.
Insane.
Oh, sure. I mean, that sounds like an assertion. Can he prove it?
Oh, big shout out to Maya in the chat. Good to see you. Speaking of people with channels.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people with channels dropping by today. Like Dave, Captive Desk. I presume you wrapped your stream Saturday night at the Atheists, which Dave does, Saturdays. Well, our Western Hemisphere Dave. Saturdays. Yeah. So and Maya's doing my job and been doing the driving thing for a couple hours. It happens to the best of us. I mean, it could be Robin's job too. Robin also drives. We're all just driving everywhere in this crazy round world of ours. What do you mean drop by? I'm your mod.
Just got you there.
Oh, Oh, Robin got a day off. Very nice. Very nice. Hell yeah. Red space king is in progress. That's fair.
In my mind, Robin supplies all the milk for a state, so no milk for anybody today. It's that's what happens in my mind. So
can't rule it out. We don't have any evidence to the contrary.
Correct. Yeah, that's my religion. That's my faith. You can't question.
Yes. And that's what it's really about. It doesn't really matter the shape of the Earth. No matter who's the winner of this debate, the truth does not change. All that changes is, do you go out and trust the science, or do you go out and trust your own observations? In the beginning, you said that we could all verify this ourselves. I agree with that. I think we all should verify it ourselves. I just don't think that you did that. I don't think that you proved accurately your globe model because you didn't present it. And it was clear that you got a little bit angry at me for even bringing it up, and especially kind of bringing up Fauci, which, as I said, it does seem like a bit of a tangent, but you guys claim to be
15 seconds.
masters of science, and you keep doing, and I'll just end with this, rapid unscheduled disassembly. You could not even admit that a rocket exploded. This is a perfect example of how you guys
He
change
did.
the definition of words, curve and level.
He absolutely
and say,
did. He said, yes, they explode. And they call it a rapid unscheduled disassembly because it's a joke. Of course it's an explosion. He's not getting the joke still, and it's been explained to him. You know, it's not funny if you've got to explain it 2 or 3 times to this idiot. Who doesn't get that joke? Who really doesn't get that?
Oh, jokes are always funnier when you have to explain them, right? But it did go right over his head, like
yeah.
Nil is whooshing right above yours right now, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Wee. I miss my buttons, but I'm glad I can make Nil appear. I see that's one thing, one advantage we have over the Christians and the Muslims and many of the others. They talk a big game about their gods, but I can show you Nil with the push of a fucking button. Now that, granted, Nil is in fact the great not god and creator of creator gods, but it's still more demonstrability than their divine being. So, you know, just saying.
trust us. This is the science. You're trying to say,
Time.
Thank you all, everyone. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Sacred and Flerf, and everybody else. David, Libra, all you guys. I love you.
Like,
I love you guys. I didn't make any points, but I love you. Won't you love me back and say I won?
He's just dog whistling to the flat Earth side. You know, religious stuff. Science is bad. You know, science. Freemasons rule the country. You know, like he's just dog whistling in order to rile up his side, kind of thing. That's all this was. There wasn't a shred of actual evidence anywhere in there, and it was all just claims. His dismantlement of Reds has been, well, I don't understand it. You haven't explained it in great enough detail. Your model isn't specific enough, which is hilarious, considered we have incredibly specific models of everything about the globe Earth, and you guys have literally, these flat earthers have literally nothing specified in their model besides it's flat. That's their specificity. I mean, I've seen flat earthers like Witsit run on, well, I'm not being specific, so that excuses me. And it's like, well, that's not a good thing.
Yeah. Just and Jasper's over here with the coffee and the cookies and the, is that like a fish skeleton next to a tiny ice cream cone? And a poof? A puff?
No, that's a person blowing, I think.
Could be. I don't know. I can't tell. It's so tiny.
I think
it's
Jasper
so
is saying, get a coffee, dunk a cookie in it, then blow on it until it turns into broccoli, and then light it on fire. That's all I can see from that list of emojis. I could be wrong, but I think that's what the suggestion is.
It's a secret code. It may even be a Bible code.
Maybe.
If we decipher it, we'll find the treasure. Yeah. Or so. Dave's got 400. Yay!
Yeah, congrats, Dave.
Hooray! We're gonna get your Bigfoot channel stuff. We'll get it monetized soon, and then you too can play with super chats and memberships and all those fun things.
Nomming cookies, sipping coffees, and smoking weed. There you go, Austin. Austin knows where it's at. There you go, buddy. That's
probably, yeah, injecting the broccolis. You got to inject broccolis. It's how we do. Yeah. All right. So I think we still have Reds closing. Something like that. I don't know. Let's see.
Sure.
Well, Ben, appreciate you, my man. We had a little bit of technical difficulties with Reds. Hopefully, he heard at least most of that since he is streaming on his own platform. Reds, I will give you 5 minutes for your closing statement, and that will start as soon as you start speaking, and then we'll move into the Q&A.
Yeah, I heard about 95% of it. What was that, man?
I just want to say I had technical difficulties too, so let's just be fair and not say, oh, and nobody was running. I know you're not running. I'm not running. That's all I'm adding.
No, nobody is saying
I
that.
heard 90.
Yeah, like
What?
I don't know.
Maybe the chat was like, "Oh, he's running because he had to leave for technical difficulties or something."
I don't know. I haven't been able to find the chat on these Twitter Space events. Like there's a button that shows like a little comment symbol, but it's just comments under the original tweet that with the link to the space that I don't know. No one likes Twitter anyway, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Percent of it, but it kicked me from the room. So I'm just going to state that, yeah, I had technical difficulties, but I heard about 90% of it. So Sacred, let me know when the clock's reset.
Yep, it's reset whenever you're ready.
Thank you. All right. Anyway, Rudd, RUD, again, it's a joke, dude. Elon makes jokes. He's a meme lord. He literally changed the Twitter logo to the Doge. This is the person that you're dealing with. The original name for the rocket was not Starship. It was BFR, Big Fucking Rocket. He's a meme lord. The name of his cars, Model S, Model 3, which is a backwards E, Model X, Model Y. What's that spell? Sexy. You can literally buy a shirt that says Ford tried to kill sexy because they copyrighted Elon Musk because he tried to call the Model 3 the Model E. He's a meme lord. You are literally losing your shit over a meme.
Mm-hmm.
Please stop. Yeah. Again, no one is redefining anything. Rapid, unscheduled disassembly is pretty explicit, if I do say so myself. All right.
Yeah, so it's exactly
the
same as calling like a janitor a sanitation engineer kind of thing. It's just a play on words. It's just a I don't know why he doesn't understand this. It's insane. Mm-hmm. Like it's just a funny metaphor for something. That's all. It's just it's so stupid. It's like, why can't how can you not wrap your head around this? That they just came up with a overly complex and pretentious way of saying the rocket exploded just for funnies.
Exactly. It's like it's just a succinct way to say the rocket blew up and fall down. It's the first time I heard it, I understood exactly what they meant.
Yeah,
and I chuckled. It's like, come on.
But seriously, like if you ask them, did your rocket explode? He will say yes, it exploded, or as we call it, it's not hard to understand. Why are you like this? I don't understand how you get to the point.
Yep.
It's like if I grabbed the spatula and said, "Hang on, I need my my flat a kitchen utility flipper," and nobody goes, "Well, you're lying, it's a spatula, how dare you lie." What are you talking about, my guy? It's just it's just so stupid, like, seriously.
Yep. No nuance, no subtlety, no humor, no just everything's literal, especially the Bible.
Yeah.
What I'm going to bring up is one point. Why don't SpaceX, ULA, or any other space service provider send flat earthers to space? Well, one of the main reasons is that it's really expensive. However, there is a person out there called Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos has the New Shepard rocket, which in my mind looks like a giant penis. But you can hop a ride on that suborbital cock rocket for $100,000. Dearth is a flat earther that I assume you all look up to, since Dearth is within the same clique as the Globebusters, who you definitely look up to since you referenced them. So, being that Dearth has been able to make enough money with his app that doesn't work, and to well over $100,000. And quite coincidentally, that's exactly how much it costs to hop a ride on that suborbital cock rocket. So the only thing I'm going to say is this, is that if you really want to put the nail in the coffin for this flat Earth, globe Earth debate, convince Dearth to put his money where his mouth is and take a ride on that rocket. It's the seats are for sale. He can easily purchase it. And I cannot wait, if he does, for him to come back, say that the Earth is round, and for you guys to call him a poser. Because every single time the globe is proven, every single time the globe is reported, it's always nuh-uh. And quite frankly, that's the argument that I got this evening. Nuh-uh. The ultimate proof for flat Earth is nuh-uh. The ultimate argument against my evidence that shows that the round Earth model comports with reality is nuh-uh. The ultimate argument against my evidence showing that, for example, the equatorial telescope mount, which was never mentioned by you, can only work on a globe is, but what about Fauci being a dick? I am so disappointed in your performance, but I have to give you credit. You actually showed up, which is more than can be said for many flat earthers that are in this arena.
That is exceptionally fair of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well
flat,
played.
Flat earthers, you know, as soon as they reach someone competent, they suddenly don't want to debate anymore. They suddenly have better things to do. And it's like this final experiment. It's sort of, they're starting to attack Jaronism, Jaron, who's going on it. And I'm just waiting for them to start to attack Witsit for it, because they are turning on anybody that can show that they're wrong. Because they've already, but you have these people that have said in the past, there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. It doesn't happen. They're lying about it. And then they're offered a free trip to go and verify that, the opportunity to prove everybody that's ever said it's a globe wrong. And they're passing. They're passing. They're going, no.
Yeah, they don't wanna.
Excuse me. Yeah, no, they're just going, no, I don't see any reason to do so. Really? Professor Dave has offered to delete all of his flat Earth content and say he was a big idiot if that 24-hour sun isn't there. Simon Dan's offered to do the same. I think MC Toon has he's offered to delete both his channels completely if that 24-hour sun isn't there. They're that confident. No flat earther is doing that for some reason.
It's very, very peculiar.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, Jaron was ridiculous. He was like, oh, well, it doesn't cost all the costs that I have could be up to $45,000. I don't know why he thinks it's going to be that expensive to buy, Arctic clothes and stuff, but apparently he wants that amount of money to cover any expenses. And the guy just agreed to it. He just said, yeah, sure. And then he said, oh, well, I need another person to come with me, so we need that covered as well. And the guy just agreed to it. He's doing everything possible to allow these people to go and verify their model, and they're just not doing it. It speaks volumes about who is actually, being honest and who isn't.
Yep.
Yeah, and Fight the Flat Earth. Yeah, Craig's going as well. Simon Dan's going. Professor Dave's going. There's a ton of people going who are confident that they'll be proved right. But the other side, so many flat earthers are just sort of finding any excuse not to actually go on a free trip to Antarctica.
Yeah, like I've said before, I'm tempted to switch sides and be a flat earther so I can go. Because I'm nowhere near the channel requirements to go on the science side. Holy crap.
So I want to say, on a good note, thank you, Band Notice, for agreeing to this debate. Thank you for being here. And I also want to say a huge round of applause. Round of applause to Sacred for hosting this debate. I appreciate it. And I'm going to end with this. Sacred, you earned yourself an order of curly fries.
Curly fries. Now that is ending on a high note. We-
It says on their Victoria. It says on their website that they're going. Give me one sec. I was looking at this just last night. Maybe that's changed. I mean, it could have. It could have. I can share this.
Do. Oh, neat.
Yeah, so it says that Craig is going.
Creaky.
And it says that Professor Dave is going. Simon Dan, yeah, it says that he is. And I mean, they have the official entry where they've agreed to it in the YouTube channel where he interviewed everyone. Planet Walk is going, so we have trans representation as well, which is fantastic.
Fuck yeah. I fucking love
Oh, the list is wrong. Well, I mean, it's the official website. I don't know what to say. I mean, it says that they're the participants. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I'll watch the YouTube interviews a bit later and see if we can pin down whether they're not going deleting. Okay. Maybe I've misunderstood it then.
Maybe they were like invited and it hasn't been finalized. I don't know. I don't
think so. I think that's. I could be wrong. Maybe. Oh, participant has a meaning. It doesn't mean going. Okay.
Oh, participation list, but the ones you're going are the Antarctica bound ones. I didn't know there was a like I said, I don't even know the website.
And one globe earther will have all expenses paid. Okay, gotcha. The others can join us in Antarctica to pay their own way. Gotcha. Okay, so that's my misunderstanding. I apologize. Yeah. No, you're correct.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't even been to the website. I don't know. I'm just like, it's neat. It sounds fun. I wish I could go. It should be.
Well, I'm pretty sure cool. It is Dave McKeegan that's going from the Globe side then, who's got a pretty big channel, like 136k subscribers. But yeah, it's just hilarious to see all of these people who have been claiming link on top row middle button. Oh, Antarctica bound. Gotcha. Okay, so here we go.
Aha.
So Jaron has accepted, Witsit Gets It has accepted, and Elizabeth Acosta has accepted. David Weiss, he absolutely was adamant that there would not be a 24-hour sun, and he came up with the stupid excuses to like bow out. It's incredible. And Alex Stein, I don't think he even believes in flat Earth. That guy is just a troll. Absolutely a troll. But Dean Odell, we covered the debate of that one.
Dean.
And he actually suggested going to Antarctica. So it's very interesting that now he's not going to.
Uh-huh. It's like Greg, fucking evil Greg was like, I got a rich dude in maybe that's what started it. Because this rich dude who's behind this, I don't think he's in Greg Locke's group, but he's a rich dude, and I think he's from Texas. I don't know. Maybe it gave him an idea. He was like, "Hey, I'm a rich dude in Texas. Let's send some people to Antarctica." I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he said he came up with it, and then he heard the debate. So I kind of believe him. He didn't get the idea from the debate. It was kind of, but it is like as things like tourism to Antarctica ramps up and we can do these things, it wouldn't surprise me if two people came up with the same idea. It's not surprising at all. This happens all the time. Yeah, not rich, well off a pastor. Yeah, you're right, IC Spin. IC Spin is basically our flat earth, drama expert in the chat. Honest with you. I love your work, man. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's very interesting to see like who is going and who is just denying a free trip kind of thing. So yeah,
who?
interesting.
Candace Owens is director.
I'm sorry.
This Mark Herman person, he's one of the people who accepted. He gets a free trip because he's Candace Owens' director.
What? Support Candace Owens. What? Why?
What?
Yeah, no,
How?
he's going on behalf of Candace Owens. It seems like, which is wild.
I assume that makes him a flat Earth side. I don't
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe.
And maybe he's neutral because the last I heard, I don't pay a great deal of attention to
Maybe.
Candace Owens because she's a hateful, horrible person.
Yeah,
with
yeah, same.
very
Yeah, I don't.
cluttered brain cells. But the
Yes.
last I heard was she said, I don't have an opinion on whether the Earth is a globe or flat, and that caused controversy. And she just went, I believe what the Bible tells me to believe, and the Bible says the Earth is flat. So she doesn't have a strong opinion, but the Bible is infallibly true, and the Bible says the Earth is flat. But she doesn't have a strong opinion.
The yellow ones say crowdfunding. Yeah, I'll zoom in a bit. Yeah, so they're crowdfunding at the moment. So they would like to go. They basically want to go, but the flat earthers get a free trip. And looks like some of the people that, like the representative gets a free trip, but a lot of the other, and I think they're doing sort of 2 flat earthers, 1 independent, so 1 maybe neutral and 1 from the globe side. So I think that the others, if they want to go, they've got to come up with the money. So you can see that somebody has self-funded, and I mean that makes sense. They're Australian, of course they are, because that's really close to Antarctica. It's definitely not going to be as much money. And the rest of them have to crowdfund for their tickets, because they've got to go. The people in America have got to go all the way to Peru, I think it is. Is it Peru, like the very southern tip of South America, and then fly over? Whereas Australia is a direct flyover to Antarctica, so it's a bit different.
I mean, you don't
the level of
have
funds
to,
required.
but it'd be like Argentina or Chile.
Yeah. I think it's Chile. I think so. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
Santiago, probably, because that's like
Santiago.
where the airport is.
Chile says cuddly uniform. I'll take your word for it. Anyway, it's not important. It's just that Australia is a lot closer to the Antarctic than the US. Strangely enough, which shouldn't be really the case. I suppose it would be on a flat Earth as well, but yeah, and the amount that have just declined the trip is just disgusting. Like, seriously, guys, you
Kinda
obviously
hilarious.
don't believe it. Yeah, and Witsit, from what I've seen, Austin's sort of trying to pivot or trying to suggest that maybe the flat Earth isn't where his heart lies, and it is, heliocentrism. Jeranism seems like he's just delusionally thinks he's not going to see the sun for 24 hours, and sort of, I don't know who this Elizabeth Acosta is from Clubhouse. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, good. I mean,
Yeah.
they went through all the names you might possibly recognize, and they're all scared. So,
yeah,
whatever.
So they're not going to go there. But I think that if you are a flat earther, you really should start questioning why they're not willing to put them. I mean, I would say put their money where their mouth is, but it's not even their money. It's absolutely free. Like, why they're not prepared to actually go and have a look. Like, it really does see like, self-delusion at that point.
C'est la vie. Aye. So yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, I don't think we'll actually legit have an answer, because like there's been endless proof and evidence and whatnot. And this is just a rich dude being like, let's do the thing. Let's do the thing they keep asking for, and then watch them run away from it. Watch them go to it and either lie about it. Are they going to lie about it, or backpedal about what it means, or come up with a new apologetic, or whatever the case is?
Yeah.
Because it's not like we need the experiment. It's been done. There's a research station at the South Pole. We know there's a 24-hour sun. It's settled.
They have like cameras that take time lapse up there all the time. I've been to their website. You can actually see that it is light 24 hours a day because they have time lapse cameras 24 hours a day. It's not like you don't need to go to the Antarctic, but this is sort of just one more nail in the coffin that is flat Earth. But to the flat earthers, even being there and seeing, I mean, I'm just waiting for Jeranism to come back and everyone just calls him a shill and he's actually a NASA plant kind of thing, like really. I'm waiting for it because that's going to happen.
He did say that after his Flerf movie, when he proved the curvature of the Earth. They're like, oh, he's a plant. He works for the NASA's. How dare?
Yeah.
Shit's crazy. But it's what happens every time. A Christian comes out and says, hey, vaccines actually do work. They saved my life. They're like, oh no, you're a betrayer. Oh well, I could go on for a little while, but
yeah,
I think that pretty much does it for today's debate.
Rhetoric did so well. Like I admire his note taking because he was obviously doing exceptional notes. He addressed everything that guy had to say, and he threw out a lot.
Oh yeah, that was pretty fucking epic. I dug it. I love the just nailing every single point. Oh, so good. Suffice it to say, I'm not convinced that the Earth's shape is any different than what we've always known it is. But Maya may be correct. Marcus is clearly a government shell. It's
buy my space blankets. buy my freeze-dried packaged food.
Prep for the apocalypse, folks. You know it's coming. Whether it's political, whether it's the solar flares are coming to get us, whether it's climate change, the end is coming. Some end is coming.
Repent before it's too late.
Oh my, yeah. We should prophecy what they'll come up with if they go. What excuses they'll come up with. We should make like a tier list of probabilities.
Excuses? I think fake set/sun, they've somehow created a sort of fake area that they've been in. I can imagine if the flat earthers want to wander off into the Antarctic wilderness and they say, hey, that's a really bad idea, do not do this kind of thing, that they will say, oh no, we couldn't go far enough, that kind of stuff. Like it was all just fake stuff put around. I'm waiting for delusionally saying, hey, a 24-hour sun doesn't prove a globe Earth. It could happen on a flat Earth because of reasons. I mean, they've already cited the coffee cup effect, which isn't a thing. It doesn't actually work, where the light's supposed to be refracted around the globe, so it only shines on the Antarctic. So they're trying to get that to work, which it doesn't. I'm waiting for I think that those are probably the two that I think will come up the most, or either that or every single globe. Like from the rest of them, I think they'll say that Jeranism, Witsit, and anybody that goes was actually a globe earther all along. And these debates, and let's show where they said something that we disagree with that shows that they're a NASA shill. They were planted to build up credibility and then undermine flat Earth is the other one. So just, the people participating are all in on it, kind of thing. That's the other one, I think.
Yeah. It's a conspiracy about the conspiracy.
Yep.
Or some, I don't know. I just work here, folks. Oh boy. But yeah, it should be an adventure, to say the least. But as far as today's debate, obviously not very convincing, but hopefully enjoyable. I mean, I had a good time. I hope you did. But
I did, yeah.
hell yeah. Thank you all so much for joining us. Before we go, what have you got coming up this week, Mark?
This week, I do have on my usual scheduled stuff. So on my Wednesday or Tuesday night Eastern time, I have Aimbot, Am I Morally Bankrupt or Them? Basically just an evaluation of Reddit posts to see who's right, who's wrong, and make some sort of have some fun talking about ordinary situations that we can apply some judgments to. All solicited, all consensual judgment. And on my Friday or Thursday night, I have Fundamentalist Fails, which is looking at videos from fundamentalists and laughing and pointing at them because they can be really ridiculous. It's also kind of delves into a bit of evaluating those arguments for scientific accuracy or, philosophical validity, like do the arguments have any weaks or gaps or cracks, which, spoiler, they do, and seeing whether they actually hold up to scrutiny. Spoiler, they don't.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I do know it's all crap. It's all garbage.
Occasionally somebody will have a good point, but fundamentalists are generally pretty ridiculous in the mental gymnastics they do. So we're going to be holding up scorecards for those mental gymnastics.
Mm-hmm. Stuck the landing.
Yes, they never stick the landing. They never stick the landing. I saw this thing about and I think it was an Olympics in Australia. I think it might have been Melbourne. I'm not 100% sure, but apparently everybody stacked it on this this vault. So if you're unfamiliar with the vault, it's where they hit the beat board and they vault over a horse. Basically, it's a piece of gymnastic apparatus, and every single woman just absolutely got destroyed. And apparently one of the Australians, they did their first one and then they noticed that it was at slightly the wrong height, like just a tiny bit of height, and that was throwing them all off, and it was why none of them could actually do it. It was hilarious, like just a tiny bit of difference.
Yeah, gotta just like calculating.
Yep.
We've got people making judgment calls on
look,
I mean,
that is 100% true. Like, see, even I think that. So don't worry about that. We all think that. That's all right. That's all right.
Just kidding. No, just kidding. Nah, it's all good. We tease. But yeah, bye you awesome bipeds, quadrupeds, and dinosaurs who may be bipeds, quadrupeds, or something else. One never knows. It's a mystery.
Thanks,
but thank you all so much for joining. Shoot, I have stuff coming up too. I have Tuesday, my Tuesday. The new video drops, the surprise video, which members already have access to. We'll see how that goes. If it goes well, it may change some things for this channel. We'll see. If it doesn't, then we'll see. Wednesday, the season finale of Transparency Talk drops over on the channel of that name. All my channels are linked on my website, betterthanember.com. Transparency Talk is where I bring inspiring trans people on to talk about good things because the good news isn't good enough. The good news has
Yeah.
been kind of bad lately. So we need inspiration, we need hope, and that's what happens on Transparency Talk. Season finale. It's Michelle Lee Garrett. She's writing a book. She's editing an anthology of trans love stories, and she's got her own inspiring story to tell. So check that out if you're at all interested. And Thursday, Transpositions Weekly. If I get out of work early enough, I'll be there. We'll see. But the show's going on whether I can make it or not. And it's a good time and it's important work. And then I take Friday off from the internet. And then my Saturday will be back over on Mark's channel for a brand new debate review. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Busy week. But yes, so thank you all so much for joining. Future people, we'd love to see you in a live chat in the next one. We do this every weekend. Eastern time, it's Saturdays at 8 p.m. at either or channel, back and forth, like a clock, like a metronome, unless something comes up. Like sometimes Mark has an actual debate to go to. Sometimes I'm off at a wedding. Shit happens. But yeah,
It happens.
mostly. Yeah. So we'd love to see you all again. And normally I've like pre-made my end line and I just haven't. So I'm just it'll be more fun to, steal a line from somebody else. So the most important thing is to stay loving, logical, skeptical, and compassionate. And we'll see you next time. Good night.
Good night.